Yep.
Oh,
Hi, everyone.
hi. What did I do?
No, you didn't do anything. I didn't change it back when I was supposed to.
Okay.
Click on the eyeball next to Jason Main in the sources tab. Click on the eyeball.
Next to Jason.
Yeah, that one. There you go. That's it. Easy fix. Easy fix.
I'm here too.
We got a Jen here today. Hi, Paint Liquor.
Hello.
Jemdar. Hello.
Have I fixed my chair yet? No, I have not.
That chair is god awful.
Terrible.
I have to admit that chair is
Gabe even sent me a link of what I could get
to replace
to
it.
fix it.
Oh, to fix it.
Well, I think you put something on the wheels or change the wheels or something. I probably will just get a.
I mean, we could just
a
get
new
rubber
chair.
wheels.
Just get a new
But
chair.
yeah. Have you ever? Oh, I don't know if you've ever experienced this before, but like hardwood floors or like concrete with rubber wheels on chairs like that is so much fun. You just slide around, skate around everywhere. There's such low friction on those. It's hilarious.
My when I was a teacher, I taught yearbook, so that was in a computer lab, and so it was not my regular classroom. And the chairs had wheels on them.
Hi.
My story has been interrupted. Telling a very good story.
Huh?
We were talking about
Is it a very
rolling
good story?
on
It was a good
chairs. No,
story.
it's not a great story,
Oh.
but it was a relevant story.
It was a relevant story.
But they would, the kids loved those chairs with wheels on them, and they wanted to, like slide around the room, and so they would sit and like push themselves back. And I was always terrified that they were going to flip over because the carpet was so just like janky and school
got it.
carpet, you
Yep.
know? It was worn in places and not smooth. And
So good.
and then there were certain chairs that had the post right in the middle and then the wheels that splay out. And then there were others that had 4 legs with wheels.
Oh,
Well, the one with the
interesting.
post in the middle obviously was not as stable for when you do that. So I had to train them. Like, if you're going to play around in the rolly chairs, you have to make sure it's one with legs on it, not the one thing.
Don't make bad choices. here.
Exactly. All about choices.
Or if you're gonna
And
make
learning.
bad choices, don't make worse choices.
Yeah, exactly.
Jim Hadar, what's going on? Paint Liquor, hello.
How are you doing today, Jason?
I'm in better. I had a chocolate bar in my desk.
Is that one of the fundraisers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
Milk
nephew did a
chocolate.
fundraiser.
They're
all
actually
milk-
pretty
they're all
good,
milk
to be
except
honest.
for
They're all
the
milk
plain-
chocolate except for the dark ones.
Except for
And
the
there
plain
weren't enough dark
chocolate.
ones.
I have one on my desk.
But I've been meaning to go put them in the fridge, but I'm afraid people take them.
Yep, probably.
You put your name on them.
I'm gonna put my name on them. But so I went to the drink machine to get a water, and I had my chocolate bar in my pocket. And I look in the drink machine, in the cooler, and there's the exact same chocolate bar that I had in my pocket, but in the
so you
cooler.
swap it?
So I swapped them. Because now I have a cold one, and I like, if I have to eat milk chocolate, it's got to be cold.
And that's like a crunch bar. Crunch bars are actually probably one of the better milk chocolate bars.
So I'll know who I stole from by listening for the person that goes, I think the cooler's
Yeah.
broken.
I think that one is actually yours. Because I recall you saying that you put one in there.
Paul ate that one.
Well, maybe
Did
Paul,
you not put
maybe
another
Paul
one in there?
replaced it.
Oh.
No, and I only put the milk chocolate ones in there. The ones that are just pure milk chocolate. This is the crunch one.
Oh.
It's called MF Crunch. I don't know what the hell that means.
Something.
We
Or
can't
MH
say that.
MF
This is a
crisp.
family-friendly show.
It's a family-friendly show.
We can't say
We
what
can't
it
say
means.
things like that.
It's an MF and crunch bar, is what it is.
The chocolate bar looks like mahogany. Kind of does. It looks like warm leather.
It does.
Like warm
Oh,
brown.
Look at that. It matches. It's warm brown.
Warm brown.
That's funny. That's what we should start doing, is like looking at the world and trying to identify what paint colors it
You don't do
matches.
this?
I do it on some things, but not on things like chocolate,
Yeah.
you know? But I do it if I see something, I'm like, oh, that looks like jade. Oh, I wonder if that's from yesterday.
Okay. I'll come look at it. I'll be back.
Bye. See you later.
Back to Jordan Solo. Oxy, hello.
I am applying some final highlights to this guy just to get that nice, like, bright ping of highlight on there. We're doing this in white blue.
White blue?
White blue.
Oh.
Yeah, nice cool highlight.
I love the green.
The green is really neat. That cool lime green color.
I found which short did I see recently, or where did I see it recently? I think I might have seen
One
it
of our
again.
shorts?
Well, yeah, one of ours.
Oh, okay.
But it was an older one. It was the one you did with the green armor.
Oh, yeah.
And
That
I
is
think
very
I
similar
think it
look.
came up when I was just on TikTok looking at videos, and it came in my feed.
Yay.
And I love that one. The green on that one is so cool looking to me.
Yeah, it's very similar to
I
this.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, ooh, we all paint something green.
Green is a cool color.
Yeah.
You get a lot of vibrancy out of green. It's for the same reason that like some of our fluorescents, like the fluorescent green, shows up really well. It just takes to having that kind of luminous quality better than a lot of other colors do.
Yeah. Maddie at lunch today asked us what our favorite colors are.
Oh, really?
Of the paint line.
That's
And
funny.
you know, my standard answers are the bright ones, the pinks and the purples and magenta, and I didn't think about green, but I do love bright yellow greens.
Bright
I
yellow
like it.
green might be one of my favorite colors. It's
Which
really
one?
good. Bright yellow green.
Bright yellow green.
Yeah.
You're down at the bottom of the frame.
Oh,
I can't
sorry.
see what you're doing. Lumberjack Tim, hello. Where are you today, Tim? Oh, Coxie, that's right. You said you're getting it for Christmas. Is that right? Am I remembering that correctly? That would be 2 months.
Ooh, very
So-
cool. I am excited for you to get your base set. Oh, speaking of holidays, I gotta finalize my holiday plans.
Oh.
I'm planning on going back to, well, I'm gonna go to Indianapolis, and then I'm gonna go to Seattle, and then I'm gonna come back.
Oh.
Yeah.
All
that's,
in one trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
We, you know, you'd asked about Black Friday, and I said that I think we usually play it by ear, but I was looking at our employee handbook, and it's actually listed as one of our days off.
Oh, okay then.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then great. Then I don't have to request any time off for that trip.
Nope.
Which is cool. I will, however, need to request some time off for the other trip.
That's okay. Nick Pie, thank you for that sub. 62
But
months.
I'm excited. My
That's more than 5 years.
stepsister is having another kid
Oh,
at the beginning of November, so that's cool.
so you'll get to see a baby.
I get to see the baby.
Oh,
My stepfamily is very cool. They're very good people.
nice.
They're very, very, very,
Well,
very
huzzah,
family
huzzah.
oriented.
Yeah.
Just throw back
Like
my
all
legs
of
and
their
pollute
family
my
lives like
britches with
in this
delight.
little patch
Oh, wow.
in Indianapolis. Yeah, so like my
Like on the same street kind of thing?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not on the same street, but like within a couple miles.
Okay.
And they like hang out all the time. Like all the time. I think my stepmom is over at her daughter's house, my stepsister's house, like every day.
Well, yeah.
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 So it's that sort of thing.
No
Yeah.
time off for you, only more paint. Well,
They're from Latin America, and
oh, that's right.
it's
yes.
it's a very big part of
Yes.
the culture. Is family is a
Yeah.
very big thing. It's very important. You support your parents and you support your children, and you want to be around them all the time, sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's very common.
You're at home today, Tim? That's nice. I like that. Only one stop. So are you getting some painting time in? Hopefully. Hobby time?
That looks so much better with those edge highlights.
That's great.
You're gonna finish the black parts of the suit, and then paint the base, and I think we're done with this guy. And then I don't know what we're gonna move on to. Maybe on to this crazy thing,
Oh, yeah.
because this will be fun. And then the guy that goes with that mess is this guy right here. So it'll be a fun little display piece to work on. When are you gonna hop in and paint your
I don't know.
Deadpool? We gotta schedule a time for you to come in and do that.
Do that. I go through these long breaks of painting and then I forget, or I worry that I'm going to forget how to do it.
Nah. It's all in there. It's in your brain. You might have to like pull the drawer open for the shelf, the cabinet, and maybe like rummage around in it for a little bit until you find it. You know, shake the dust off.
Yeah.
But it's still there. Those cabinets are there. They maintain that information pretty good. Just sometimes takes a minute to find it.
Yeah. Coxie's decided that for now I'm not doing a half and half skin tone.
A half and half skin tone. What does
It's
that
a
mean?
half and half skin tone. Dave said starting to dread my hobby time. I need to finish my figure and move on to the next one.
Do it. Finish it fast.
Are you a person who feels like you have to finish one before you can move on to the next one? Like you wouldn't put it aside and maybe work on something different for like a little palette cleanser to reinvigorate you maybe? Half and half blue mixed with purple.
Interesting.
Oh, it's for a competition in 3 weeks, so yeah, you probably gotta finish it. One side of the chest is blue, the other side is purple.
Oh, neat. What model is that for?
Sanger's Thousand Sons.
Oh, Zangors. Okay.
Zangors.
Yeah. I know what that is.
Hey, Game Delay. Game Delay said metal is looking good, baby J.
Thanks, Game Delay. I'm pretty happy with it. Nothing crazy. I'm definitely going quick with it, but I like it.
I think I've asked, but are you gonna play this game?
Maybe.
Okay, maybe I didn't ask.
I don't know. I don't know anything about the game.
Oh, are you gonna paint any of the other models that go with this?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah. The next thing up on my docket, as far as stuff from that huge, gigantic pile of miniatures that we got.
Yeah. It's the gigantic one, right? You're gonna paint that?
Oh no, no, not. That's like, if we decide to do that, that'll be a Jason and I project. we will work on that
Together. It's a team effort.
The team effort. No, it's stuff for Massive Darkness, which is one of the games that we got, and we are going to be playing it every week during lunch.
Oh, fun.
So that'll be fun.
Cool. Ghost Hunter said it's looking metal AF, which according to Game Delay means metal as foretold.
Metal as foretold. I mean, it was foretold.
That is AF too. Just don't put tartar sauce on the minis, please.
Oh my gosh. You guys and your tartar sauce aversions.
I almost made today's stream title, Does Tartar Sauce Belong on Chicken?
It totally does. It totally does. You guys are wrong. It's okay. Tartar sauce belongs on chicken. You may not think so,
But that's just because you haven't tried it.
but that's just because you haven't had it yet. And if you tried it before and you still don't like it, it's because you haven't tried enough of it. Those are my hot takes, and I'm sticking to them.
Think you don't like something, you gotta stick with it.
Yep.
I'm partway through painting my Massive Darkness 2 minis, doing multiple groups with quick base coats, oil wash, and some highlights. Got distracted by things like monthly challenges.
Yep. Get distracted. Welcome to the monthly challenges. We are here to distract you from.
I
other
can't wait to
projects.
see this month's.
It's gonna be fun. I haven't looked at them at all. I haven't even
haven't.
gone into the
I
Discord.
usually
channel for
don't. I like to see them at the end.
it. Yeah. Although it's coming up. It's coming
Well, I
up
don't like to.
very
Yeah, I
quickly.
like to be surprised with even like the type of models that people make. Don't look at them if you like sleep. They're the stuff of nightmares.
I'm gonna make
Paint Looker's already finished. Look at you.
you. What an overachiever, paint
Was that
liquor.
like a week early. Good job. Songer, hello. Been a minute. Have there been any new product announcements lately? Well, it depends. When was the last time that you heard a product announcement? What was the last product you heard announced?
Yeah, it's true.
That's the only way we'll know. Greetings from South Tejas.
Oh, hello.
Aloha.
I don't think they say aloha in Texas.
Hey, they say aloha everywhere.
Well, maybe that's true. I'm not convinced though.
How long is this gonna haunt me?
Is it good though? Now?
Yeah, it works.
Yeah, okay.
How many more days of this is there gonna be?
Well, okay, but if you're talking announcement songer, what's the last announcement that you heard? Or like preview that you've seen? Ooh, hey, that's all you need. If you've got Spam Masubi, you've got everything.
Never had it.
Wait a minute. Songer's been here recently.
He said, it's been a while, or it's been a minute. Have there been any new signatures? So you haven't seen the fluorescence? Oh,
We've
gotta
been
find
talking
a
about
VOD.
this fluorescence for a while.
How long's it been, Songer? Seems like only yesterday.
Greetings from under my feet. Oh,
Not true.
no, I don't see anything.
Not
down
true. 2 months.
There. Oh, we've definitely been showing them off for longer than
It was
2
like,
months, I think, right?
hmm,
Feels like it's been longer than 2 months.
We have a few things.
But
that you
2
may not
months
have
feels
seen.
like yesterday, so time
Work got in
time
the way.
is kind of a weird dynamic thing around here.
Especially for us in Arizona. And Hawaii, interestingly enough.
Hi there to all the old people
Who's
from
old?
the younger people.
There are no old people here.
Nope, not at all.
You are only as old as you feel. In your head.
I was about
Had
to
to,
say.
had to add that.
How's
Okay,
everyone feeling
okay.
today?
Had to
All
add
right. All right, because I'm still old according to the first part of that.
that. I definitely feel
I woke up
old.
this morning, and I got to admit, man, this morning I was like, yeah, I'm not going to work.
I didn't want to get up this morning either.
I think the dog is like doing like tap dances on my body while I sleep or something. I woke up
Sounds-
not feeling great today.
Sounds like that might have been a universal thing, because I wasn't feeling awesome about waking up early this morning either.
Yeah, 70 is a good day for me.
Feeling like you're 70? What?
Shh, I don't think that's what you meant.
I don't think that's what you meant either. That's why I'm clarifying. Not suggesting that Jen is actually 70. Let's be honest here. Jen is not 70.
I feel like I'm one misstep away from a broken hip.
Oh gosh.
Aren't we always, though?
Yeah.
That's true.
It just depends on how big the step is, right?
Yeah.
As your age goes up, that step becomes smaller.
Pixel Hunter, hello. So here's the thing. I watch a lot of streamers and a few use your paints, and one I watch only used yours. Because of this, I just bought your whole collection. Oh,
Ooh, wow.
awesome!
Freaking awesome.
Well, who is the streamer? So we can give him a big thank you.
Welcome to our little family.
Uh-oh, Stonewall has a slight emergency.
Uh-oh.
Slight emergency. I need to prime a pewter miniature,
Okay.
but the weather is not going to allow me to use my normal primer. Can monument primers adhere to pewter?
Sure.
Yeah.
Same basic strategies, right? Just
Yep.
a light coat, let it dry, another light coat,
Definitely give it a few coats.
let it dry, maybe a third light coat. And
Yeah, just remember that when using acrylic polyurethane primers, that you're going to need to make sure that you understand that it is never going to be as heavy duty as a lacquer or an enamel
Also.
primer, depending on if you're using like spray primers normally. It'll never be that tough. So it'll rub off of corners and stuff like that on metal. But
once you get paint on, it's good. Yeah.
You still might have that problem
with metal models, it's
Oh, yeah,
always going to rub
metal.
off.
That's right.
Until, I mean,
Yeah,
once
I
you
have
lock
that
on the
metal.
rest of the paint, it's okay, but just acrylic paint in general doesn't stick to pewter very well.
amazing.
But we've been doing it for years, right?
I was
We've
about to
been
say.
painting.
It's amazing everybody survived this long.
Yeah, we've been painting with it for years. It's just anytime you're painting metal models of any kind, it's not the primer that's the issue. It's the acrylic that's the issue.
Yeah. Next level painting. Ugh, that guy.
Kenny's
Kenny?
amazing.
He's the greatest.
Kenny's painting a metal model right now?
No.
He's
This
the
person
streamer
watched
that
Kenny.
Pixel Hunter
I'm sorry.
watched
I got
Kenny.
those two.
Yeah,
things mixed
sorry, no, two different people.
Kenny's great. Kenny's been there since day one.
Yep. We've known Kenny since before we were Monument Hobbies.
Kenny made a post about he's doing a bunch of posts right now that are like historic throwback memories for all of his October stuff.
Oh, cool.
And one of the ones that he put up recently was a bunch of models that were done tutorial style with other paint lines, and from back in like 2016, 2017. He did that, and it was so funny because he goes, "This was all before Pro Acryl existed."
Yeah. Yep. JP Gray said, Monument Primer is like me to this stream. You may try and get me to go away, but it stays strong.
You've been trying for years, JP. Years. So that's a good testament right there.
Songer said he sounds like a shock jock from back in the day. Are you talking about Kenny? Or a strip club MC? Yes, you're talking about Kenny.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Death from Impulsor. What is the best combo for making bone on power armor with your color line?
Bone, like to paint power armor the color of bone?
Making bone on power armor with your color line. I assume that means that, yeah? We have bone paint.
Let me introduce you
That's
To
like the
bone.
best.
to the one, the only bone.
But if you're looking for a combo, right, what would you use with that maybe?
I did a short on it.
Oh.
For specifically doing bone for.
Yeah, he did bone like on he did a skull on an orc shoulder
I did.
from the orc war tribe AOS stuff.
So Death from Impulsor, I just put our YouTube link, and if you go into the shorts section, there's one. What do we know what it's called? Bone armor or something?
Yeah, it'll be bone. Like,
Yeah.
it's a big
You
old
should-
picture of a bone shoulder skull.
Should be
thing.
pretty easy to find.
Yeah. We also have a methodology for it if you want a little bit more specifics
and that would be in our Discord.
in written details. Yeah.
Yeah,
And on our Discord, you can go into the Hall of Methodologies, and there's one for.
If you're ever
Or there.
curious, we do methodologies for all of the shorts that we do. So
They usually follow.
yeah, they usually follow
the
a couple
week.
of days after.
Yeah.
So lots of good information to be had there.
Who's that one friend of yours? He sounds like a strip club MC. Kenny.
Kenny, it's
Yeah,
Kenny.
It's Kenny.
We know that guy. I've heard of him before.
Video title is How to Paint Bone with Pro Acryl. There you go.
Yep.
Keeping it straightforward.
Hey, look, we don't like making it complicated. We call it like it is. And it is, in fact, bone. So much information, can't use it all.
Dr. Oh no. Dramus? I don't know. The numbers in the middle always confuse me. How did you do the transparent glass? Can it be a YouTube Shorts video?
Transparent glass? Like, you talking about for the lens? On his helmet? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, probably.
I would, yeah, I assume so.
Yes.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, potentially. We always like to add more stuff on there. I can also just tell you how I did it, which also works.
That works.
Yeah, I mean, I can also just repaint it too. Show you live.
Welcome to Jordan, king of the
Hey,
repainting.
this is good though. This is for educational purposes, not just because I wanted
These
to
are just
change
the
my mind.
excuses we tell ourselves. Because you've been dying to repaint
He's
it.
doing it for you guys. He's doing it for you.
I'm not repainting anything on this. This model's great. I'm happy
Gabe
with
said
this.
this
Except for
hurts.
this thing that I'm gonna repaint just to show how it works.
Oh, there's Black Wolf. That's what Jason was looking for yesterday, I think.
Jeez. Liz, I'm trying to do a nice thing, and all I get is grief.
Yes, that's
Yes,
about sums
that
it
is
up.
how it works.
That about sums it up.
So we're gonna start with some dark neutral gray to give it some base color. You know, I might even change the color a little bit. Do you want to keep it like? Do you want to keep it black, or do you want to try mixing it up with different colors?
Ghost Hunter said you're procrastinating from the 30K army.
No, I need to build a lot of stuff for the 30K army.
That's
the
where
painting part,
procrastination is.
I just needed a little bit of a break because there's a lot of it here. This is the tartar sauce on chicken of hobby tutorials. No, no, it is not. Oh my gosh, a mix.
Slovak, hello.
All right, so we'll start with the dark neutral gray then. And I'll show you one way to do it, and I'll show you another way to do it.
My day's been pretty good. I won't speak for these guys. I'll let
doing
them
all right.
answer.
Can't really complain.
Mine's been stressful.
I'm sorry. to
Story
hear.
of my life these days. Yesterday we had every single DNS record for all of our domains get cleared.
What the heck?
For any of you in
What is? I don't know. How does?
website and IT stuff, you probably know what a headache that causes for a business that has so many things that are reliant
Yeah,
upon.
you're getting some reactions on that.
How does that thing even happen?
We were very fortunate that Jen and the team caught it via, I forget what exactly it was that you saw.
Philip said that a store contacted us saying that they couldn't get into the portal,
Oh yeah, that's right. It was our
our reseller
our
portal.
reseller wholesale portal
because
for
not
buying.
a single customer contacted us about it.
Yeah, nobody
but
else.
The store customer, the store owners did, like 2 or 3, and then I think that maybe prompted Gabe to look at our regular site because it was right at the end of the day.
The regular site was working. The store worked.
Yeah, and then I went on to.
But
no, it didn't.
anything that redirected for specialized cases did not.
The store did not work. The whole website was gone.
Oh,
Yeah, because remember I had to go on to support, and they gave me that list that I sent you of 4 different things. Yeah. Yeah, it was the whole site.
whole site was down. But I think we caught it so that it was only down for like maybe an hour tops. But still.
JP Gray said, sounds like a simple fix with very little hair loss.
Let's just say I didn't get home till pretty late
Yeesh.
and was not happy about it.
Yeah, he was here till like 7.
All right. So we got the dark neutral gray on there. Still drying a touch, but we can work on this right side real quick. Can I zoom in anymore? I can.
JP, or is it because there are too many robots? That's the question.
We're gonna take bright neutral gray. Actually, we're gonna take neutral gray first.
So I was like, oh, Jesus. Yeah, it was an oh, Jesus moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that, and I was
Jen
like,
was standing in my office, and I was like, okay, so this is a major disaster. This needs to be top priority right now. Everybody stop talking about what you're talking about. We got to figure this out. What's going on? And of course, when our hosting service came back up and was able to get us access back to our DNS stuff, they never were able to put the DNS records back. They lost everything, no backups. And they still have not been able to provide me with an answer to why that happened. Because their first thing was that, you know, we didn't pay our bill. And I'm like, I need you to look at the valid dates on every single thing that we do with you right now, because I'm staring at them, and the nearest one is June of 2024, and that one doesn't even matter. Like, that's not even something we use. That was just a domain, like Monkeys Doing It, that we got one day just cause, right? And immediately as I was sitting there on hold with them on the online support thing, as I was refreshing the page, more menu items started showing up on our dashboard. Like, in the background, they were fixing it real quick.
Yeah.
They never gave me an answer as to why.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're trying to avoid any kind of liability, but...
Yeah.
Megalodon.
Bye,
enjoy your
Megalodon.
dinner.
All right. Is it Dramus? Dramus? DR4MIS?
Dramus.
First, I thought it was Doctor for Minis, but then I realized that there's
There's no
a couple
M,
letters
there's
missing
no
for
N,
that
yeah.
to be
We want some
right.
tacos, Megalodon. Well, no, don't tell him that. He'll send them. Gotta
Probably.
be careful with that Megalodon guy.
So, Dramus? Okay, cool.
Dramus,
That's what
okay.
I thought. So we're gonna do the eyeballs first. So the glowy orbs that we had. So we're gonna thin down some green, and we're gonna find where the eyes would be, and we're just gonna kind of do some stipply fun stuff where we're just pulling the paint towards the center of the eye. This is a pretty small, subtle motion that I'm doing. Basically what I'm doing, I'll show you on my thumb, is I'm doing this. And that's to keep the center part more, with more pigment in it, and having it be a little bit fainter on the sides, because this is thinned down. I'm going to get a little bit more paint. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Make it a little bit bigger. A touch more on this side. Cool. So that's looking pretty good. We got eyeballs back. And then we're going to do the same thing, but with bright yellow green.
Park John said this Marvel United expansion is one of the best expansions,
The Sinister Six one?
but it doesn't have the Deadpool on a unicorn.
Yeah, which makes it instantly not the best.
They're all great models.
To be
Yeah,
fair,
they
Cloggertron
really
did
are.
say one of the best.
One of the best.
Yeah, one of the
Yes,
best, yeah.
that is true. That is true.
Yeah, and then we're going to go in with this and keep a little bit of that darker green on the outside. Then we're going to create this hot glow for the center of the eye on the inside. Then we're going to use the same sort of technique for the application of this paint here that we did on the previous step. And we're thinning it down as well. Like I mentioned for the previous step, we're doing the exact same thing.
Omicron, we're doing pretty well this afternoon. How are you? You got to be enjoying the cooler weather. Starting to get cool finally.
The
No,
fan
fans,
is on.
Fan's on. Right above my head. Maybe I kind of changed my microphone. I wonder if mine was picking it up. Maybe and I moved it down a little bit.
All right. Next, we're just going to put a little dot of full opacity level bright yellow green on the inside to finish up the little glowy eyes. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take, oh my goodness, it's avian.
No, it's not that time. We still have
Plenty of time.
2 hours and 15 minutes.
We got tons of time left.
Oh, good point, Gabe.
All right, Dranus.
AC is not running as much, so that you won't hear that as much in the background.
So next, we're going to take some neutral gray. Then we're going to create an edge highlight around the glasses. And this is just right out of the pot, full opacity. Nice, strong coverage in single application. And we're only going to do it on the top part. We're not going to worry about the bottom. Because
Omicron,
the
here's
light's
where
going to catch on the top.
he's gonna add that every day is his day off.
And then, since we have light coming from this direction, we're going to pull in some of that neutral gray.
Wait. Back up.
Oh,
Back up. What
Alright.
was the? Where does the light come from?
this direction. This direction?
Where? How?
Because I want it to.
No. I want the sound effects again.
What was it?
That's what I love about him.
I don't
Sitting
even
here
remember
painting
that
with him
I
every
do
now
it.
and then, and he'll just be like,
Oh.
he was like, the light comes from over here. And I was like, where's the light come from? I was hoping he would go from
Did you even notice
I
you
literally
did it?
did not even.
Am
realize
I the only
I
one
did
that? And am I the only one that caught
I
that?
didn't catch it either.
Oh my
Am I the
gosh.
only one that caught that, chat?
It's because you pay attention to it and you make fun of me for it all the time.
It's not making fun of you.
No. In good spirits, like in a you think it's funny, but you kind of enjoy it, but you're kind of giving.
Oh, I think
me-
it's amazing.
Yeah. You think it's funny, but you're making fun of me of it in a good way, in a lighthearted way.
It's like I look at my nephew when he's doing silly noises and stuff. Like he doesn't think anybody's watching him, and I'm like, "Hey, nerd," and he's like, "Oh,
I just don't even care.
yeah, that's the thing."
Yeah.
My mom used to make sound effects, like, you know, she'd be like, so we're just gonna go right over here, zoop, and then we'll go over this hill, woo, and then,
Yeah.
like, she
Yep,
would make
yep.
these little noises, and we, like, my stepdad and I both would be like what now, like what was that, and she'd be like, okay, like, because she didn't realize she would do it either.
I love it.
It's
All right.
awesome.
That's
So-
right up my alley.
So we got this part of the lens over here.
I couldn't tell you anything else he's talking about, but I know that the light
But you
comes
know
from
the
doo 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 doo.
And we're gonna blend with a damp paintbrush the edges of this,
Panic bomb, what's going on?
so we get a faint amount of this color to come over the lens, and we're gonna build that up, and then we're gonna do it on the center of the glasses as well. Oops, making a mess. I'll fix that in a minute.
Oops.
JP Gray, I'm a hippie. You got me. I'd be a hippie too if I could.
She has Birkenstocks. She's almost there.
I do.
She got Birkenstock. She's
I'm always
almost
like
there.
telling the dog, I'm like, Cora, there's a hippie in the house. Find it, kill it. Because I'll be standing in the closet and Jen's Birkenstocks will be there.
My Birkenstocks are almost as old as Jordan.
Oh goodness.
That's
My
awesome.
Birkenstocks are older than Shelby and Maddie and Jacob.
So we're gonna put like a little break line where the light kind of breaks off. This is not necessarily super accurate. This is just because it looks kind of neat. This is part of this like cartoony style that I'm doing. I think it just looks interesting.
We really do have a bunch of babies here.
And then
They're
we're gonna
delightful.
blend it again. And what I'm doing here is I'm just taking some paint that is wet. I'm taking all of the rest of the paint off of my brush, rinsing it off, and then coming back and taking a damp brush and spreading it into, here, I'll do it on a larger surface so you can see. But what I'm doing is I'm taking, here we go. Well, I'll do it on this base. So if I got the base here, putting some wet paint down, cleaning off my brush, taking a damp brush, and then I'm starting off of the model, or away from the area of paint, and then I'm pushing my brush into it, and then feathering it down. And this will create a nice gradient and give you a kind of smooth blend of that one color over that area. This is one of the ways that I do a lot of my blending. It's a riff on the two brush blending style that I picked up from Privateer Press back in the day.
From that dastardly Dallas.
Yeah, from Dallas Kemp.
Put his brush in
That
his mouth all the
guy.
time.
Yeah, so they typically like to use two brushes to do this, and they'll swap between them, and they'll like lick their brush and stuff. I don't do that anymore. I just use one brush, and you do enough time, you do it enough, and you can kind of get a sense for how the paint will dry, how long it takes the paint to dry, and you'll figure out how to kind of get in there and work with it. And you can look at how damp it is, right? So this shine is mostly gone on this side, so I can't really work this side anymore. But this side over here, I could work in the other direction because it's still not 100% dry yet. So if I go on this side,
You pretty
I can
much
do the
use a
same
Sable
workup.
3, Jordan?
this is a Sable 3 right now.
Sable
Yeah.
3. Is that what you use? Like
Most for most things, yeah.
Is that what you were using in the short for today?
Probably.
Okay. Someone asked, and I
Wait, the one that we posted
white
today.
the white one.
Yeah, sorry, I recorded one today
Oh
too.
yeah, sorry, no, the one we posted today.
Yes, yeah.
That was the 3.
Yeah,
Okay.
that guy's on my no, it is on my desk.
Okay.
Dave-
Just 'cause someone
Dave took it
asked, and
back from the desk.
I couldn't answer because I wasn't sure, but I will answer it right now.
But yeah, so this is a great way to get nice smooth blends, or you can even create textured blends with it too. If you do kind of like weird, just like textury sort of almost stippling but not, you can blend it out that way as well, and you'll get a nice kind of uneven texture to the blend. So you got a lot of different ways to mess around with it. But yeah, so that's what I'm doing on this lens here.
Avian said if Baby J did okay, and we need this in a commercial. If Baby J did continue to lick the brush, I'm imagining an Uncle Phil throwing Jazz out of the building event.
I
We
don't
need
understand that reference,
You
so
don't?
it can't hurt me.
Oh no, it's not bad. It's
No, it's not bad.
It's funny. So The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. You know this show?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So The Fresh Prince, Will Smith. Do you know that Will Smith was part of a rap duo called DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince?
Now that you
Before-
mention it, yes.
Okay,
that sounds
before
familiar.
the show,
Yeah.
and they had like really like funny, silly raps. And Dr. Phil, so it was just Will Smith on the show, but his friend Jazz was DJ Jazzy Jeff, and he would like have guest appearances every once in a while.
Mhm.
And Uncle Phil, who Will lived with, would throw him out of the house and like physically lift him up and throw him out of the house because
On the show.
yes, on the show.
Okay.
And it was a thing. It was like a recurring thing.
Glad we
I feel like
clarified
it
that.
happened pretty much every time he was on it, right? That's something he did something that would get him thrown out.
All right. So we have.
I think it's so because wasn't DJ Jazzy Jeff's character from back?
I think he was from he was
East
from,
Coast?
from Philly.
Yeah, he was like back from his hometown.
Yeah.
He's a bad influence. So.
Usually for hitting on Hillary or something. Yes, every time he showed up, he was tossed.
So we got those blends kind of ironed out, so we're going to move to a 50-50 mix of bright neutral gray and neutral gray.
Scannian, who makes the pile of medievals?
No idea. I got
Printed-
it on Etsy.
Printed by aliens.
Yeah, Printed by Aliens is the company that prints it out. I'm not sure
Oh.
who the company that sculpted
Actually
it.
sculpted
I
it.
had the people from Printed by Aliens, though, were kind enough to do all the resizing for me because it's typically 28 millimeter. I think somebody else grabbed it for terrain in the office, but it was too small because this is the pile of bodies that Percival is going to be perched upon. Oh, as long as I don't destroy it before then.
So we put that highlight along the top ridge of the sunglasses again, the goggles. And then we're gonna put in this little reflective area here. We're gonna bring it across the bridge of the nose. And then we're gonna blend it out on the other side.
This is being a lot more fun than it has any right to be painting.
The bodies?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, Percival made the pile of medievals. That's actually the correct
Yeah,
answer.
Percival actually did make the pile of medieval minis.
And then we're gonna do our blend on the other side. Just like we did before.
Is the Percival diorama just for the fun of it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Just because I can. Because Percival's an amazing model. He
And
deserves it.
He
Yeah.
deserves it.
It's so out of my wheelhouse to really care about this cute little owl model.
Yeah.
And I'm having a blast with it, so I'm going to write it.
Yeah, if Jason sees a cute model, he's usually trying to think of a way he can make it demonic or a zombie version of it or something like that.
We got some bright neutral gray here to do
Oh, Panic
the
Bomb,
next
thank you.
stage of that highlight.
Now, how will we remember this? Panic Bomb found the listing. The company that sculpted it is called Tiny Furniture.
There you go.
I need a whiteboard in here.
Oh, yeah. Like
I
a little
bought a
whiteboard at
whiteboard. I
the
should
producer's
buy one
desk
right
is
now.
probably a really good idea. Tiny furniture.
Game Delay said, I thought the plan was to make him a proxy for a large unit in a tactics game.
Yeah, initially our heavy infantry stats in the game that we're making are on 75 mil bases, and so initially I was like, he'd be great, but
He's found another calling.
yeah, the reality is that he's gonna be greater on this pile of bodies.
We'll do some cool light bands on this side.
Slovic said, after the chained demon, I'm sure Percival has been a fun change of pace. Well, you actually started Percival before the Cherubael.
Oh yeah. Cherubael came after. I was pretty much done with Percival by the time. Where did Cherubael go? It's here.
Oh, it's yeah. We needed to make room when Shelby was in here priming.
Yeah, Cherubael. not quite done. I still want to do some glow on the base and finish the base work. There's probably some smoothing out that I could do, but he was a good quick project, good palette cleanse, and was fun to do. I worked on him quite a bit at New York Comic Con to get him pushed a little bit further along. But he was always meant to just be. He was a cool model that I wanted to paint, and I've always had an excuse to not order him. And then when I ordered the Sanguinius model, I was like, okay, I'm getting him. So, fun. But Percival, we had already gotten to the state that he's in now prior to starting on Cherubile.
So now I'm gonna repaint this again, but I'm gonna make his sunglasses orange because that actually sounds really cool.
Wait. So you just did this tutorial,
Yeah.
and
show
during the
how-
tutorial, you're like, you know what I'd really like?
I finished it.
No, but during the tutorial, you were thinking to yourself, you know what I'd really like is to paint this again.
No, I literally said it before I started.
That you'd paint it 3 times?
Yeah, probably.
Crazy.
What's wrong with
I
repainting
missed
stuff?
that.
What's wrong with you people? There's nothing wrong with painting stuff multiple times.
I think you already did it, though.
So Gabe's like, again?
I'm doing it just to mess with Gabe.
Slovic said, what was your process for those ribbons?
Oh, those ribbons.
On Cherubile?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, you'd have to go back and watch the VOD on that. I went crazy with color on those. There was a lot of jade and royal purple and
It was like my kind of colors.
warm yellow. For a while, it didn't look like it was meant to be on that model. And then I glazed back over, akin to the way that I did the armor on my Death Guard, where it's really meant to just be a neat kind of a bruised color undercoat.
Game Relay said, first you paint things one color, then a totally different color, then color over that with more color, and then you unironically tease Baby J about painting things more than once?
Yeah. I only paint things one time. I just do a lot of color on them that one time.
Pixel Hunter, I posted the link right there for you. There are quite a few stores in the UK, though, so check the locator and see if there's anyone nearby, and you can always get them from Element Games.
This
Yeah.
guy's gonna look really cool with the orange glasses.
Yeah, the orange is going to be neat.
Yeah, it's gonna pop like crazy. Means I probably need to do yellow eyes on the inside to make it read correctly. If I do that same glow.
Oh, the part about teasing Baby J wasn't meant to be a question. I saw that as part of the method. That's part of the process.
Oh, yeah. I'll go with that.
It wasn't a, you do all these things and you have the nerve to tease him.
He doesn't have the nerve to do this. He just does it.
He just does it.
There's no nerve about it. He enjoys it. I don't have a problem with it. We work well together as a result.
He goes home and cries.
Maybe I do.
For some reason, he shows up the next day, so I feel like it's a win-win.
Yeah, Spassinat Lumberjack Tim gave us till 2079 on Plaid. JP Gray said, I cannot concentrate long enough to paint things. TikTok ruined me. I have to say, I find myself more and more recently saying things like, oh, I saw this TikTok video. And then I say something relevant related to a TikTok video.
I mean, Jen says that to us all the time.
Huh?
You say that to us all the time.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying is I find myself more and more doing that lately.
Take her phone away.
I know. I need to.
That's on
I
you.
don't watch a lot of TikTok.
I ain't crossing
though.
that line.
That's the thing, is that I don't watch a ton of TikTok. I mean,
Wait.
my
Wait,
phone
wait.
time at home is split between multiple things: crossword puzzles,
Okay.
Instagram, a tiny bit of Facebook, like once a day Facebook, and TikTok.
And TikTok. I'm like, wait.
It is definitely not all TikTok. Dramas, I think he's doing it now for himself.
What's that?
He said, "Thanks so much for the demo. There's no point of doing it again for me."
No. I just think this is cool.
You're getting some insight into the mind of Baby J over here.
But wouldn't it be cool if his glasses were orange?
I'm surprised he doesn't have 8 of every miniature he's ever painted.
That sounds awful.
Oh, I mean, you do it real time here.
I do it.
You could have had 2 of that guy.
But we don't actually have 2 of this guy.
Oh, well, there is that. Gotta be like our metal gang. Getting there. I'm doing some very thin glazes right now just to pull things together a little bit. I've been very, very rough and sketchy with this whole thing, which is kind of my happy place.
Which is kind of your happy place.
It really is. I don't care to waste my whole time making things smooth and blended if I don't have to. Especially not when doing like a pile of bodies. There's a time and place for everything. Beat up pile of bodies, I don't think there's a better place to be sketchy with it.
Game Delay said, "Oh, Baby J, you could do all this repainting, but do it on different versions of the same model, and then you'd have an army."
Nah. No, we're good. No, I'm okay. No need to do that. No.
Paint Looker said it's starting to look like metal.
About to jump to the bright color here in a second.
There should be at least one owl pellet on the body part. Oh, that's funny.
Like you pooped a little?
Yeah. I done pooped on him.
With like a finger in it. Or something. It's gotta have something in it.
He
Oh,
should
like he regurgitated it?
Yeah.
He should have a pellet gun on his back. That would be funny.
Sir Yordle said, "I was just thinking today about how the only reason my wife has more painted minis than me is because I have repainted so many things."
Yep. She's moving forward, you're moving backwards.
So you can relate to Jordan.
I've been getting a lot of work done on my minis. I'm staring at like half an army's worth of painted stuff right now.
Now you're just boasting.
I mean, you have a whole...
I think every case in this entire thing has
Yeah.
like one painted mini in it from me and then like a sea of like base coated.
Yeah.
You know, I can remember the stream where I was like, oh, here's how we paint leather. And there's like leather boots on a dude and the rest is black primer.
Yeah.
So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, there's like 5 cases in the office, right? And
They've all been dispersed.
huge glass cases, right? That were bestowed upon us by they who shall not be named. And they've been filled with various models from eBay and whatever. That's just the storage for built models. And now as I walk around everybody's offices, I'm looking in the cases and I'm like, Oh, I remember when I painted that. Like Kyle's office is just filled with a bunch of
Kyle's
stuff that's like, oh,
It's full.
I remember
Like,
all of this.
His is full.
Yeah.
He couldn't put anything in it if he wanted to.
There's a lot in mine
Yeah,
too.
there are a lot in yours too. Jason's has nothing.
Yeah, there's my Battletech miniatures in it.
Oh,
Mine
you
is
should-
empty other than that.
Come grab all the cool models that you have out of
You
all
won't
the
do
rest
that.
of our
You're gonna have to
cases.
bring them in there to him, Jordan.
Oh, okay.
He will not come.
Well,
get
a lot of them are yours too, Jen.
I will come get mine.
These
All right, so here's where we make our jump.
And there's not a lot that are mine. There's like this much out of that massive case. Time for Monument Hobbies painted mini auction. Open up space.
50% painted mini option.
Yeah, that's right. That's kind of how
You
this
might get
started,
lucky and get
isn't
one
it?
that's fully painted. But I would
Commenting
take
on
another.
how
If you think
well-
you got a mini painted by me that was fully painted, look at it again. Take a deeper look. Chances are not finished.
Mo's got a painted mini from you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one only took me like 5 years.
Yeah, exactly.
At lunch, we had a review, 60-day review with one of our employees, Maddie, too. And great lunch, and she asked some good questions, right? And she was asking about painting miniatures and stuff, and I was like, I don't really look to finish them anymore. Like, I don't paint them for games, really. I paint them to have fun on stream with you guys and to show different ways of painting. I'm not as concerned with finishing stuff. And then I started thinking, have I ever been concerned with finishing models? There was definitely a time where I was doing more commission work and things like that. Leads you to need to finish.
You don't play as many games anymore, though.
No, I think that now my brain is all hooked into the game development. So I'm very antsy to like play our game. Is what I want. But by that same token, it's like, well, then I should finish some models because
We're also going to need finished models for that, too.
I am very excited to paint warbands for our game on the stream. I will be finishing those. Oh, show.
Oh, sure.
Game Delay said, given the extent of my ADHD and the time I have, if anyone ever wanted a commission from me, I would contract for an 80% complete model and tell them you get one viewing angle. And they'll be happy with it.
We got the start to our orange glasses here. Building up with started with burnt red, like a really thin glaze of burnt red. Then a nice kind of application with that blending technique of burnt orange. And we're going to move up by mixing some orange into our burnt orange. But first, we're going to put a nice little edge highlight. We're going to mix it actually.
Slavic, which game? Our game? Slavic said, I feel like we aren't talking about this game enough.
Gabe, it pains me to say this,
But the orange was
but the
a good
orange was a good
call.
call. Yeah, almost like I have good ideas sometimes.
Don't push it.
Game Delay said, I think Slavic has a good point. We've seen a rhino with a shoulder gun, and that's not nearly enough.
Yeah, I mean, I showed you some other models.
We gave some of them away.
We
There are
did.
people out there.
Yeah,
who
there's
have
some
the
there's some
rhino
of
with
you
the
out
shoulder
there
gun.
in Chatland that have all 3 of the models we showed.
JP Gray said, does Jason still have the giant blue ringed octopus he painted like 6 years ago?
Yeah, it's in one of the cases.
It was so cool and was supposed to be the start of an army.
Yeah, and then they killed that game.
Oh,
Which game?
That was a CMON game, Wrath of Kings.
Oh,
They
bummer.
killed Wrath of Kings and they killed
Dark Age,
Dark Age right at the same time.
which you also have some models for out there.
I have a lot of Dark Age
Hey,
models. I have
Tim,
the
welcome back.
Kukulkani
Yep.
models in the case. But yeah, that bummed me out because I was really, really liking that game. That was back when I immediately contacted one of the higher ups at CMON. Churn? Is that his name? And I was like, hey, sell us Dark Age.
I would love that. Would be so awesome. I love that game. That game is so much fun.
Slavic, the models were given away on our July 4th anniversary stream. So if you want to see them, I know that they're there if we have a VOD from that one.
mod does exist.
Does that VOD exist?
I believe so. It
When
was.
did Gabe start? We didn't really start doing the VODs until...
Oh, I didn't think about that. Gabe feels like such a part of the team. He feels like he's always been here.
Well, he kind of
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, I'm sitting here, Gabe, you're loved. Because I'm like, of course Gabe was here.
I literally can't remember when you started, Gabe. Like, I just
Gabe's just
Well,
always
he's
been.
also always been here. I mean, as long as
Just in
you've
general.
been here, he's just been around.
yeah,
You know.
yeah,
May. Okay, so it's probably on YouTube.
correct.
It should be. I mean, I know I have this guy, right? So this is one of the medium. Oh, I have all of them. Yeah. So this is one of
Oh, well, there you go. Now you
the
don't
medium
have to hunt
infantry.
for it.
This is the heavy infantry that I was painting because this is my favorite design out of the whole thing. I was like, I want a game and I want the heavies to be very imposing so that I can make a rhino with a shoulder cannon. So there you go. So the faction is not rhinos, but they're just part of it. And then these guys are part of the same faction. This is our concept of guys that as you go up in status in society, you are allowed to become more everlasting by replacing your putting your consciousness into higher end tech things. These guys still semi fleshy. They're obviously alien-ish with those hands. And then the big one of these we did not do a test model of, but the big one of these is a big three-legged combat walker that's pretty amazing. This first round is just to get a gist of how Siocast works at scale and how much it shrinks, what the quality is, things like that. So all these are done in Siocast, and they turned out pretty good. There's some shrinking around joins, so the join lines are a little bit larger than I'd like. So we're probably going to have to revisit a lot of the designs to make sure we have either ways to compensate for that, or our goal is to do them in polystyrene and PVC. So we'll just see where we get.
Slavic said, I'm extremely intrigued. Is there a readout or something on the game so far?
No, we just talk about it here. We're not exposing a lot of it because we think we have something. I mean, everybody thinks they have something very unique, but we think we have something very, very unique. I think it's fair to say.
Mm-hmm. I would say so.
So we're not exposing a lot of gameplay. This game's been in development for over a decade. There are people who have been followers of the stream who have actually played the game with me in Tabletop Simulator from way back in like 2017-ish, 2016-ish. I had a full Tabletop Simulator game that I made out of rando assets back when they had virtually nothing to work with. I love the visual of this, with these two legs just poking out from underneath this guy's belly and a head.
Well, that's the head for the guy that got his head chopped.
Whose legs?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's his legs that are cradling his head. It's just great.
Black Wolf said, let me know when I can come give it a try.
Yeah, local people will be announcing, when we get to like beta, if you will. We're doing all of our pre-alpha testing in-house. We're pretty far along. We're at a good spot right now, but we have another game coming out in March, and so that's our primary focus for the time being.
Percival knew what he was doing. He's sending a message. Chuck the Meadman said road trip. I think they're ready to come and play the game.
Yeah, I mean, I've thought of all sorts of really cool things we can do as we get closer to that point where we could have,
Jordan, we can't see you.
Oh no.
Cool drawings in stream or contests that we can run on the web and on the site that would allow people to maybe get, a trip to HQ to play the game before it comes out, kind of stuff. We'll see. We'll play test for food. You probably should be more specific. Food is a broad ranging. I know you're in the military, but I'm sure you still have particular things you would not prefer to be considered food.
One thing we can say is not food.
Paint.
Yep.
Game Delay says we'll play test with food as long as it's tartar sauce.
I'm in.
Sugar Rush, is the game going to be going up on Kickstarter? So, we're not sure about the big game.
Test for game.
The first game that we're doing is it will be, right now our intention is that it will go on Kickstarter, but it will be a little bit different than things you've seen on Kickstarter. Other people may have done what we're talking about doing, I don't know. We do not like the Kickstarter idea. It's not that I don't like the idea of crowdfunding and people getting together to bring something to life if it's necessary at a small level, but we believe we're at a spot where our investment in our ideas is worth something, and we really want to believe in it to the point where we're ready to spend the money on it before we sell it to you. That's just a product development thing that I bring along with me for having to do product development for decades now. I've worked in businesses where if we're not ready to produce it, we don't make it. And crowdfunding would have never been an option because it just seems like you can put a half-baked product out there. Not saying that people do, just my own mentality. So our version of Kickstarter will be that we're going to publish on the current game. We're looking at publishing somewhere in the neighborhood of 3,000 to 4,000 units before launching the Kickstarter, and doing the Kickstarter with waves. So wave 1 will be the early backers, and the early backers, as soon as the Kickstarter closes and funds after the backer kit gets completed, then you would get your product delivered because it's already in-house and physical. So everything other than upgrades that we add, right? Stretch goals that might get added during the campaign should it be successful. The stretch goals may not be completed by the time the campaign ends. We'll try our best, but that's things like additional miniatures and stuff like that. So it takes a while to create. But the game, the playable game, will be available to all of the initial backers by the time the Kickstarter and the following backer kit closes. So assume we run the backer kit for like 2 or 3 weeks after it. The Kickstarter might run 2 or 3 weeks, and then another 2 or 3 weeks, and then you get a shipping notification, you get the game. So our goal is put our money where our mouth is. If we think it's good enough to make, we're going to make sure you get it quick. and that'll also help with our retailer support and things like that. So the bigger game is on the fence, right? Because that one's something where, like I said, in order to do high impact polystyrene, PVC models, that's a bigger undertaking because right now there's 6 factions, if you will. They're not called factions, but there's 6 factions, and those 6 factions include a pretty good amount of models that need to be made. So we really need to look at what it takes to get all the molds cut for that and figure out how we're going to do that for both timing and funding. So there'll be more coming on that front.
Putting a couple of not quite final highlights, but getting pretty close on these goggles, which I think look really cool.
Yeah, the orange was definitely the right thing.
Yeah.
Sugar Rush said also any chance of getting holiday minis up on the website? I've had a hard time finding anything not 3D printed.
Holiday, you mean like something in the vein of the holidays, like Santa Claus and things like that? What are we talking about?
We did our miniatures when we did the Mother Love and Paint Party that year, but we don't really make miniatures. We have Journeyman and Minework miniatures on our website.
And yeah, we have some miniatures coming out. You've seen the texture trainer mini that I've been painting. We've got those that are in development right now, but none of them are like holiday oriented.
Game Delay said the front fabric on Baby J's model keeps catching my eye. Deserves a little applause.
The like ribbed.
He's knocking that whole model out of the park, man.
Yeah, it looks great.
Vulture looks great. The man can paint.
Try sometimes.
He's okay, I guess.
Sometimes it suck, but not always.
I would say very rarely. I don't think I've ever seen it.
We're gonna do some final pinprick highlights on the glass here. And catch these brightest edges.
JP Gray wants to know if you ever got your model holder concept further along.
Yeah, we did. We got it completed actually, but it was not very viable from a cost perspective, so we never launched it. It might be something that sees the light of day at some point, but I've got to figure out where I'm stubborn in regards to product development. Sometimes I don't want to have products that don't meet my initial expectations if I can avoid it. And I really had a mindset for that one that I wanted to see it in aluminum. And if you know anything about manufacturing, doing small run aluminum production is very expensive, doing it in the US. And we don't want to take it offshore. So a little bit tougher for us to.
When's the Paint Liquor 9000 coming to market?
It did in 1976. That thing's great though, right?
It's so good.
Not the first time somebody's asked about it.
Yeah. JP is shocked to learn that you're stubborn.
Right? I
I
know.
would never have known.
I know. I know.
This is all new to me.
I know. Should have told you in the interview.
Jason, stubborn?
Anyway, you should have told us you're a heretic.
Yep, yeah. Well, you know, maybe you wouldn't have brought me over if you were I was a heretic. I would have been stuck over there in Seattle, all cold,
All cold, alone,
alone.
hungry. No, but on the game, on the big miniature game, it's tough for us to not talk about it.
It's really cool. We want to tell you all about it.
Yes.
It's really cool. We want to talk about it, but we can't. Not yet. There will be a day in the future where we spill our guts, so to speak.
Chuck said, I work at a machine shop and we just lost a job and are sitting on quite a bit of aluminum after our customer bailed on us. We have capacity too.
Shoot me an email. Full CNC capabilities?
James Meek said this is off topic, but love the mold line scraper. It's amazing.
That's
It
not
is-
off topic
It
at
is
all.
really good. For such a simple tool, it works so well.
I think a lot of people don't realize the beauty of that one. Chuck said 100%. So what
Game delay.
was
Other than the
last?
person missing a head, where did Percival apply all of the wounds? To the ankles.
The ankles, he was, yes, the slasher of
Getting your
ankles.
Achilles cut
It'd be so funny.
will
If
take it out of you. This guy just bitched too much, and so lost a head too. Yeah, it is kind of funny because we have a severed head, like cleanly severed, flat severed, no torn edges to the skin, and then bodies that you're like, I think they're playing possum.
They're faking it.
They saw the guy
they
get his
might
head
be.
cut off, and they were all like, "Act dead,
Yeah.
play dead." The owl's serious.
This owl does not mess around. Beware of Percival Chevalier.
Watch out, JP. He's going to come
The
for you
first
next.
fifth of his name.
He knows where you live.
Maybe some of them aren't dead; they just can't walk. Could be, yes, could be, and they're playing dead,
Oh, yeah.
right?
'Cause
The
they
bodies
saw
were
what happened
piling
to that
up, and they
guy.
were still down there arguing. They were like, my ankle! What is this bird doing?" And then he chopped the dude's head off, second
like-
from the top, and they were all like, "Play dead." Just got real in here. I don't know about that last guy.
It's
I feel
just
like
a
there could have
flesh
been
wound.
more. There could have been more, like cut marks and things in armor, but we'll go with what we got.
The guy on top is definitely faking.
Definitely, exactly. His ankles are fully armored. I'm with you. There's definitely some faking going on here. Just a flesh wound. I got better.
Chuck said we specialize in complex engineered hydraulic and automotive parts and really like aluminum.
And really like aluminum. I mean, here's the deal, right? Here's our printed from our local fabricator. There's still some issues that need to be taken care of. Like you can see the magnet seating isn't correct for the magnet depth. Right? I think some of that might have been me filling up too much super glue and then them popping out because I tried to get it in there too much. But it has a magnet seat there, and it's just a machined part that is it has to be made out of aluminum. This is, I don't remember what this is called. It's not Delrin. I forget what it is that they 3D printed out of. This urethane, but it's just got a 1/4-20 stud on a cork shape, and it screws into this base that allows us to do different things with the base. We've got holes in it for things like extra set of hands, clips, things like that. And then the base for your miniature that you would have multiples of just magnetizes on there and gives you a platform for putting the poster tack on. So it's just a good modular miniature holder.
What's
But
the
I don't want to do
largest-
another 3D printed plastic, bottle top kind of a thing. I want it to be hefty, something that when you're holding it, when you're setting it down, that mini's not going anywhere.
What's the largest diameter?
I want to say it's 55 mil. It's probably like 55 millimeter, maybe 50 millimeter.
Yeah, Songer, that's what I was gonna ask JP if he was talking about like a kid's book. Because if so, it's Redwall.
Medieval mice that fought against rats. Slavic says, is the game going to be 40k size or kill team? It is more of a, well, it's a skirmish size game. Right now, the way that the game is looking to balance is that you're probably limited to somewhere in the 10 models range. We'll do that via points, right? So we've got to still work out the list building points. Right now, it allows you to do 12 miniatures.
Yes.
12 light infantry. Yeah, you could do 12 light infantry right now at standard game sizing, and we feel like that's a little abusive. We're not changing it right now because we have to tune it as we go through actual gameplay. We've played a lot of games, but now we're dividing things out power base by faction. Right. Initially, we've just been testing everything as an open system. Does the system work? Does the turn order work? Do all of the concepts in the game work? And everything works 100%. Now we're dividing out all of the power aspects and abilities into their various factions, and then we'll have to start playtesting that, see how the factions balance against one another. And one of the things we're worried about is activation amounts. If you have 12 light infantry, you're going to activate 12 times, and if somebody else only has 4 heavy infantry, does that stack up? Can we balance the game in a meaningful way that can allow you to fight off that many activations? So we'll see, right? Other games do it. It's just there's not quite as big a discrepancy in other games. I think in like Underworlds, if you play Underworlds, you can have like 7 or 8 models against 3 if you do Stormcast versus like Undead. Yeah. Right? But the Undead disappear pretty quick. And our game isn't built that way because models don't have individual stat lines in our game. So
too much of the beans.
Black Wolf, you're having a stroke? So can a heave take 3 ings? Is that code? Do you need help? He's like, yep, I am having a stroke.
And hello, T. Schmidt.
T. Schmidt.
Slavic says, so similar to Steel Rift with weight-based teams. No, it's a point base. There's light, medium, and heavy infantry, and the various infantry have a flat points cost. Light infantry costs a point cost, medium infantry cost a point cost, and heavy infantry cost a point cost. There are things within factions that alter those points for that faction, but all infantry have the same stat line, all light infantry have the same stat line, all medium infantry have the same stat line, all heavy infantry have the same stat line. There are things within the factions that alter their stat lines, but it all starts from a very generic base level. And they each have a points cost, and so you can only, given the ceiling of points cost, imagine in a 40k you have a 1,000-point game. Under that ceiling, you can only put so many models, and right now the max is 12. The way the points work out is 12. It would be 12 light infantry. Could you cast those holders in some kind of resin, or is the production scale for something like that not great? There are some pieces that would have to be multi-process and cast. The board holes you can't cast, so we would have to do that post-processing, and we're trying to not do that. It would be great if we could, put them on the CNC. It might still be a secondary process on the CNC and runtime perspective, but it wouldn't be as big of a deal as casting and then having to set up a jig to do secondary process with drilling or putting them on a CNC after the fact. So we'd like to keep it in one world of production if we could. Can you do 1/1 scale? You want life-size game pieces? You want this 10-foot tall rhinoceros with shoulder cannon? I don't think you can afford shipping, JP Gray.
I don't think your dogs would like it.
He wants to 3D print it, probably.
Yeah.
Here's the STL. Let us know when that finishes. Rugged Cartoon, hello. If nobody said hello. Painting is going great. Jordan's over here killing it on the Vulture. We got Simon sent us like all of the Marvel United stuff.
It's super cool.
My desk is loaded.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
with Marvel United miniatures.
Pile of stuff on your desk.
Was there even a duck?
Howard the Duck.
Howard the Duck.
Yeah, I got
I
Howard the
saw
Duck.
that on your desk today.
I was like,
that's
they made a
the
Howard
Duck.
the Duck one. That's my favorite.
Should be just done printing just in time for plaid paint. Exactly.
Exactly. What are we up to? 2079?
Yeah.
2079?
We'll see how many more delays that we get from Tim.
Yep.
2079 is a long way away. That's pretty brutal.
Vivek Eats Paint said the Marvel United series is totally worth the cost just for the minis. Never mind the game. Is it a good game?
Nivek,
That
I
means?
wouldn't even speak to the game. I only care about the minis.
Yeah.
Honestly.
The minis are super fun though.
And this is coming, those of you that have been in chat for a long time know I don't give a damn about painting anything Marvel or Star Wars or any of that generally has a look attached to it.
Yeah.
Those allow you to take what's known and flip it on its head for the style of the model to pull it off. I just love it. Painting that Thanos model was great. I had a lot better time, or more fun painting the Thanos from Marvel United than the Thanos from MCP. But I like MCP as a game a whole lot. I just don't care to paint things that everybody already knows what they look like, is my big thing.
Yeah, once you go chibi, you have a lot of room to explore weird things, or how it's interpreted.
Yeah, I don't know if it's maybe because it's just not how I'm used to seeing them, so it intrigues me. I don't know. Whatever it is, I like them.
Lumberjack Tim said, I'm curious what you guys would do to paint diamond, like diamond skin.
Depends. Is it sculpted with facets, or do you have to paint the facets? Because the thing with any gemstone is you have to base all of your values and volumes off the faceting of the edges, right? And so it really can be as simple as painting, a triad of color followed by, like if it's a four-faceted diamond shape, you could paint a triad of colors and then the fourth facet is like nearly white with the glow. But it comes down to the miniature.
Chuck, it would probably actually be better. Normally I would say yes, but I think this one should go directly to Jason. So just Jason at monumenthobbies.com.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a Jason thing.
We could get it to him, but he tends to not see those as quickly.
What are we talking about, like for the holder?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely don't send it
Yeah.
to support. I won't get it there. I mean, I will, but not
You will, but it's not as easy.
not my main source of email.
Tim said, I'm thinking yellows and pinks with blues and whites.
Yeah. The believe it or not, the original if you Google like the original Guardians of the Galaxy, there was a character in there who had diamond skin, and I always loved the way it turned out in the comics. You're going to catch me lying if I try to tell you what his name was, but it was done similar to that with a lot of like magenta-y pinks and things like that. So that might be a good starting point for you to look at.
Sugar Rush said, I really wish there was more chibi stuff. I really like the style, and my game group is little kids and their moms, and they love them. There's a lot.
Tons of chibi.
Yeah, it's
There's a whole. If
There's
you
a
go
lot.
to Impact Miniatures,
Oh, Impact Miniatures is great for chibis.
yeah, Tom.
They have tons of stuff. That's how I started painting. The very first Adepticon that we went to, his booth was like right around the corner from ours. And Jason's like, you have to go look at these. And that's where I got that little, it's broken now, but a little dragon with these cute butterfly wings.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And tons of different unicorns, like a little cowboy unicorn, and he has great stuff, and a whole set. If you like the movie The Princess Bride, he has a whole set of Princess Bride chibi miniatures. They're awesome.
But they have like he sponsored a deal where I forget what the person's name was, but they did Sisters of Battle in chibi.
Yeah, just anything you could imagine, pretty much. He's got tons of stuff. Game Delay said it's also funny seeing some of the metal on Jason's piece highlighted, because I look at the other places on the armor and think it looks good, but then I see the knee armor and think, oh, that's shiny armor. Yeah, that last highlight. Or is this the last one? Or this
will be the last one, yeah.
That's what really
Yeah, so I've kind of focused in this area to start, and you see the stuff on the back. It gives you a good example of how metal looks, because, you know, his armor across his back and stuff would be very dull metal, you know, never polished kind of metal, if you're to do it that way. Whereas you start putting this final jump, and there's only one step between what you see on the knees and what you see on all the rest. And you notice how much darker everything else on the models gets as I put this highlight on there. You took a break from non-metallic metal on your challenge model because you just don't get it. It really, you know, it's frustrating, because when we sit here and tell you, and we're not lying and we're not missing something, it's that the hardest part, and yet the easiest part, is taking the jump from these colors that were the colors I was using just before, right, to this, because your brain doesn't want to make that jump so harsh, and yet that's what does it. And the problem in doing it is that once you convince yourself to jump off the diving board, the problem is you tend to apply this color in thicker bands than you need to, where you don't need much of it at all, right? If you really look at what I'm doing here with this color, there's not much of that bright color on here, and these colors, the darker ones you see on my thumb palette, are what really exist everywhere. It just explodes that brightness at you. So it's that last pop of color that makes it metal. The rest of it is really just sketchy blending like we would normally do if I was painting his armor red or whatever. I would paint it no different, really, right? I might restrict my highlights into tighter spots for that reflective shine feel, but it's virtually the same method of painting that I would for the boots or whatever, skin or whatever else. It's just jumping a lot of those later bright mid-tones and initial highlights, just skip them all together, go straight to your final highlight or your next to final highlight, and use it in very small areas, edge highlighting, little highlights, right? Highlight placement is the hardest part.
Jason is a wizard, a stubborn
Martin X. Are you asking Martin X if that was the character? Maybe.
The diamond.
That sounds
diamond
familiar.
Skin.
You'll know, because he literally has underwear, spandex underwear, and diamond. All of his skin was like diamond. He had it was Rocky diamond. He looked like the Thing, except made out of diamond. He wasn't quite Thing or Hulk bulk. He was still man size, but yeah. Yeah, Martin X. Maybe that's his name.
Oh, I could put it up on here, and then you can see it.
Yeah, Martin X is part of the Ravagers. They took a lot of the original Guardians of the Galaxy, and they moved them to Ravagers in the movies. Because the original Guardians of the Galaxy didn't have, Star-Lord or any of that stuff that I remember.
Well, and the cool thing is it actually makes sense in the context of, the origins of the Guardians of the Galaxy from in-universe MCU, because they used to be Ravagers.
Maybe so, yeah.
Yeah. So it makes sense that their predecessors are still Ravagers, right?
Is this it?
Probably, but you'd want to go back further in the comics to the 70s. This is that's more modern stuff, because he doesn't have all the fat. That's good. Some of the Martin X stuff we're seeing in Google is good.
Is it golden?
Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
There's the real Guardians of the Galaxy right there. Yeah, like that.
Ugh.
Right?
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm saying the character design may not be great, but for what Tim is trying to do, that would be an awesome way to paint
What did
Diamond.
I do? Oh my gosh.
What?
Look at the screen. What did I do?
You hit a number.
I
Yeah,
didn't.
you use the numpad.
Oh, I did when I did 1970s. How do I get
Can't
that?
use a number pad.
Sorry.
Just go back to.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Superman, yeah.
Oh my god, it always freaks me out when I do that. Sorry. That's my fault. I need to put a piece of paper over this. Sorry.
The
Can we get rid of that?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
knew. I grew up with Guardians of the Galaxy in the 70s, and so when the movie came out, I was all excited, and then they showed the previews, and I was like, these aren't the Guardians of the Galaxy, because I had stopped reading comics for a long time, right? And I was like, I remember, I remember the way it was, and comics are not the same at all. They changed all the stories, rebooted everything, took a lot of stuff from the Marvel Ultimate Universe, and made it the canon for the MCU. Most of the MCU is based off of the Ultimate Universe, and I was not a part of any of that. I didn't know. That was an old layout.
Sorry. Yeah, I messed that up.
Spandex underwear and diamonds. That's your at-home casual wear. Seems good. You're living the real life. Your best life. You recently tried to do non-metallic metal on a model and showed it to Kenny, and he just said, "Nice try." So you re-quit painting.
Gosh.
See, this is why this matters, right? It's not about nice try. It's finding where you need to turn to make it work for you, right? What are you not getting? You know, because it's I don't know how to get it across. I feel like the easy way to talk about it is that you're already doing all the right things if you're painting and embedding shadows and highlights on your model. It's just you're doing it in a way. Remember when we used to bring the spoon out, right? The spoon and the pencil. I haven't done this in a long time, right? So the pencil clip is made out of metal, but notice how there's not a big variation between bright and dark. It's almost the same variation. Even when I turn it off axis from the light, it's still almost all the same color. It's a flat face, but when I start to get reflection on it too, right? You see the color of my finger in there, so you know that it's polished enough to reflect color. But when it's just light, you don't see super dark areas and super bright areas. This is the way normal things paint. Look at the body of the pen, right? Well, it's all gummed up, but it's flat black, right? It's a matte black rubber handle. So the body of the pen highlights the same way the metal does when the metal is brushed aluminum, right? When it's not meant to be highly reflective. Brushed stainless, brushed aluminum, anything that is oxidized metal that's been outside tends to lose its luster, right? Because it has a lot of particulates on the surface that are refracting light instead of reflecting it. When the light hits the surface, it's bouncing off all the directions there are and not just back at your eye. When it's polished, like this upper part of plastic, right, is more polished, so you get that in this black section here. Notice how this highlight along the barrel of the pencil is so diffuse. It blends from the brightest section to the darkest section very evenly. We call that diffused light, right? So it's diffusing from its brightest reflective spot into its darkest shadow, and it goes in a constant gradient. So there's no big jumps made here. This is how we tend to paint because that's what gives you a smooth visual for your color, whether it's red, green, blue, whatever you're doing. We tend to want to blend like this so you get to your highlight, but your highlight's not too overbearing. It just gives you a nice volume. I can tell this is a cylinder because it falls into shadow, right? But it does it with that gradient. So we're used to painting the gradient because the gradient feels good, gives us a nice smooth texture to our paint, and makes it look like, hey, I'm a good painter. But then when you want to paint reflective surfaces, you have to jog all that away. This light is very laser beam, straight line, up through the black, and then immediately black on either side. It reveals the color of the substrate material. It doesn't blend off because these surfaces are polished. The particles of the surface lay flat, so when light hits it, they bounce right back at the angle that it hit it, right? Standard geometry. And so you're seeing that bright shine, right? If you take your head and move off to the side, you're still going to see that bright shine on a cylinder because it's going to always beam back to the angle at your eye. Same with the plastic up here, but as soon as you get into this is how we paint. This is how you have to paint reflective surfaces. And that's why I'm saying you get rid of about, if this black, you get rid of about 80% of your color, right? Because you only have black and white up there. There's no gray. Same thing with the metal. Right? The metal off axis gives us a little bit of dark gray, a little bit of light gray, and a little bit of bright neutral gray across the top if you want to think about that. Maybe neutral gray down along that edge. And then you could paint this entire metal clip that way. Right? Now, bring in the spoon. Right? And the spoon is not brushed. The spoon is polished stainless or something similar. And you'll notice that the spoon acts exactly like this reflective part of the deal back here. So now you have all sorts of colors. You're back to, sharp highlights between your brightest colors and your darkest colors that give you that reflection. But now it's also not that standard black, and it's reflecting and diffusing a little bit more, right? So it's not quite as polished as this black section is, right? Because you can see we get a little bit of gradient there. So you've got 3 different materials here, right? A more polished metal, a less polished metal, and a polished plastic that does the same thing with light that metal does. So what you're really trying to understand is you already know where the highlights go. They don't change. They go towards the light, just like everything. Just because it's metal doesn't change where the highlight goes. It just changes the intensity of the highlight, right? But then it's how do you paint from your highlight to your shadow? How much of that is gradient with blended color, and how many values of color do you go through to get there, right? Because the more values you go through from shadow to highlight, the less shiny your object is going to be. Right? The fewer, as you start subtracting those interim colors, the more shiny it's going to be. Make sense? Now, I know that's very simplified. It takes practice to start doing it, but
That made it click for Nivik Eats Paint. That's why I've been using too much gradient. That helps my brain a ton. Thank you.
yeah, you have to eliminate. You do the gradient out of. I paint from shadows to highlight. Jordan does too most of the time, and so for us, we paint out of the shadows, and we do the same gradient we would always do, up until, let's look at this side that doesn't have any of the bright color. I do the same gradient up to about my raw mid-tone, depending on the color I'm painting, right? So I would call this my raw mid-tone. That's where, if you were to go from my darkest color to what my brightest color would be if I were painting cloth or something normal, this would be halfway there, right? My darkest color is the Payne's gray that you see on the leg, and my brightest color is my mid-tone. That's my halfway point. If I were to keep blending from here by brightening up and do another 3 layers of paint, right, I would steadily get more gradient, but by the time I was done, it would look like the matte surface, right, as opposed to the shiny surface. Right, as opposed to stopping at that mid-tone and then putting your brightest color on it. That's what we get here, right? You can see the same thing with like Percival. Percival, I used a little bit more of the mid-tone coloring, more of the spoon, less of the shiny plastic. So I still have some gradual gradients, but I still jump a little bit brighter mid-tone, and then I make that jump to that brightness. And it still has the same effect because you can see the edge of your reflective shine. It doesn't blend out. Your shine should be fairly sharp, right? And we're just built as painters in the miniature world to blend everything, make it smooth, oh, your blends are too rough, and with non-metallic, that's out the window. You need some areas of non-metallic that you do not blend on purpose in most cases, if you want to have polished shine, right?
The other thing I like to mention is there are very few things in life, in the nature, in the world around you that are perfectly smooth. Almost nothing is.
Yeah.
So it's okay to have texture on your models, even when things are supposed to look relatively smooth. Some amount of texture will add more realism to it. Having some imperfections helps, like the little scratches on the kneecaps that you have there. Like, that's a great example. It's smooth, but it has these little chips and these little nicks in the armor that make it feel like it's used. I'm done.
Super Bleeder, yes. We're happy that a lot of the
great.
mods are hitting the YouTubes now. I love Game Delay's like, wait, there's 32 other Lumberjack Tims?
Well, and then I had to go back and look at Lumberjack Tim's name to like, oh, he must have a 33 on his
I never
name,
think
and I
about it.
never
He's just
noticed
Lumberjack
it.
Tim.
Yeah.
He's just family. Tim, you're just Tim to us.
Well,
I mean, except for Jordan, it seems.
Sugar Rush, that's awesome. Thank you.
I'm gonna go turn
Sugar
the
Rush
airbrush
said
on.
I don't get to catch these streams very often, but when I do, I feel like I always learn something.
Awesome. That's important. I mean, that's why we do what we do,
Yep.
right? The best way you heard was there are no shadows on metal, just light and dark reflections. That's not true. Metal shades just like every other surface. If there's an absence of light, metal will not reflect, right? So it still shadows, There's a part of metal that is a shadow, and then there are parts of metal that are dark reflections. So that is incorrect. And don't get fooled by that, right? Because again, where did my pencil go? The pencil's a good reference, right? Watch, right? This here, as I turn it this way, right, is definitely going into shadow away from the light as it gets darker and darker over here, right? These are, you know, it could be saying that, you know, this is a reflection of the table, but that's not the case necessarily, right? It's still shadow, right? I can put my finger there and still shadow it, because that same shadow shows on my base here. It's not a reflection on the table. It's shadow. It's the lack of light. So the lack of light is there too. It's not a reflection. It will reflect, you know. This metal will reflect my finger and you get color. So don't be fooled by that. You still have to treat it as a three-dimensional object, and where there is no light, you still have to shade it. That's what I start with. My sketches for metal start with shading the same way I would anything, right? So I'm darker on this side of the body. I pick up a little bit of light on his chest, right? But I still shadow just like normal. Treat it like a normal surface. It's just stop halfway through your color application and go straight to bright highlights. And then you'll start to see how metal-ish, reflective surface, we call it, starts to show itself. Right? And then you can dial in shapes, because what we haven't talked about is how every shape reflects light, and that's where you have to really pay attention. We got to pay attention with that with anything. You know, painting a Space Marine shoulder, whether you're painting it in Imperial Fist yellow or in raw steel, still requires you to understand how a sphere will highlight, right? You think it was from Eric Swinson? I'll talk to Eric. You can say, Jason says you're wrong. Non-metallic metal with true metallics. Gosu? Yeah, I mean, you can shade and highlight metallic paints and get a really, really good way to keep control of that visual of reflection. You know, my biggest issue with metallic paints is that they don't allow you as the artist to maintain the visual that you set out to do. If you've been here for a long time, you've heard me say that painting a miniature is like touching up a photograph, colorizing a photograph. This is one moment in time, these bodies laying here. This is not in motion, right? It may have motion to the sculpt. It may be a guy that looks like he's running, but at the end of the day, the sculpt isn't moving. It's just one photograph. And so as we go through this, we're painting the way the light was at this moment in time. It shouldn't move. So when I turn this upside down, my highlights should be upside down because it's a photograph. If I turn the photograph upside down, the highlights are upside down. When you paint with metallics, when you turn the model upside down, the highlights are wherever the light in the room is. And so you can spend time with your metallics, shading them and highlighting them in ways that force the model to still be bright where you want it to be all the time, even when you turn it upside down. Some of the reflection will fall around because it's basically like putting gloss varnish on a model at some point, or satin, right? But it'll be less so, and it can make metallics a lot more controllable in that regard. But, by the same token, metallics do a great job of making things look like metal when you don't want to spend a lot of time on it.
Yep.
That's really what their grand application is for. But you can do some amazing things with them because they're just paint. Another misconception for a lot of people is that for some reason you can't mix, blend, and paint with metallics like you would with any of the rest of the paints in your arsenal, and you most sure can.
That's a neat base.
What is that for? Oh, that's your Captain America one.
Yep. Or, well, technically, it's the
Thanos,
Thanos
technically,
one,
I
yeah.
guess, huh? I just remembered knocked out Cap.
He's basically going to be like that.
Slavic, would you even attempt non-metallic metal on an army? Yeah. Yeah. I've done a lot of my Dark Angels, and my Dark Angels are all non-metallic metal, albeit very Wish.com non-metallic metal, but all those studs are non-metallic metal, right? So every stud on the shoulders is done in non-metallic. The radiator on the backpack, the guns, everything is done in non-metallic metal, albeit, like I said, very fast. On the larger models, I'll spend a little more time, but still not much. That bronze trim is done super fast, right? It's like khaki, dark golden brown, and khaki, done. But you're still applying the principles. You're just even skipping more steps so that you can just get, this is a great lesson in how doing your dark golden brown, one layer of the mix between khaki and dark golden brown, and then khaki get you there. Boom. You might do a little bit of bright ivory in some spots to knock it up. That's really messy, doesn't have a lot of color attached to it, but can be very, very fast, right? And again, it's just knowing how to use that highlight color in just the right amount to get it to appear like metal. This isn't going to hold up to scrutiny. People are going to see this. I didn't spend time worrying about how my highlights are. I want them to be similar, but I didn't really focus on anything, principles of reflective material much. It was really just put paint on real quick. And then, of course, the non-metallic metal for all the silver bits, Jordan's been doing on his, and it's super fast. Super fast and easy to do all that. Yeah. Just use limited colors. Just know how to put them in the right application to get the job done.
Now, I did switch to doing true metallics on my guys just because I want to get them done quick. I don't want to spend a million years on them. But I am still doing non-metallic metal on like the characters and stuff. So like, Malagers, for instance, he's gonna be on non-metallic metal.
And you can see how my bronze changed doing the lion. It's got a lot more focus on it, right? Smoother blends, more colors, more steps between my colors, but still using that same principle of making that jump about halfway through to start creating shine. These will look good on the table together, but I'm not going to spend the same amount of time on the Dreadnought as I am on the Primarch.
I don't know if you saw that, but the Monumentals webpage is having issues.
Probably. Omicron, yeah. Probably not working. That's what I said earlier in this stream. How many more days is this going to take for me to remember all the things I got to fix? Our hosting service deleted all of our DNS records yesterday and don't have an answer as to why. So
that's crazy. It's wild that they just don't have an answer.
Well, I'm sure they do. I'm sure there was
say
some sort of system thing, or they thought we didn't pay, it didn't register that we had paid or something. It has to do with billing for sure. Because that's the only thing. The funny thing, though, is when the guy was talking to me, he was honest, and he said, listen, he goes, you would have had to have, not paid for, 90 days. And I was like, nope. Not a thing.
That's definitely not something that happens.
Not a thing.
So
I said, our business relies on this. You can look and see that everything's up to date. He goes, yeah, I can see. Nothing has an expiration date on our entire system until, I think, like I said, the earliest was, June of next year. But he was like, there's no backups. He goes, so even I'm going to get you back into your dashboard and you're going to have DNS control again, but there's no backup, so I can't help you there. And I was like, well, that's great. I don't know what our DNS records were. Yeah, that's an ongoing issue as it appears. I'll get it fixed after stream. Hey, Gabe, if you're out there listening, can you make a note and put it up in chat that I need to figure out what's going on with the Monumentals as well? The main site was not a problem. It was every other site that requires a redirect or something like that that wound up being the big problem.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so all of our stuff for our marketing... Gabe came in right at the beginning of the stream there and was like, none of the links on any of our ads work because they all reroute through a UTM that is a redirect, and all those DNS records were quashed as well. So, yay, fun. I just want to go home and play Space Engineers. That's what's got me hooked right now.
New game?
It's an old game. I don't have patience for new games, so I find myself going back through my Steam library and saying, you know what? I thought this was pretty good. I should try it again. Some of the games, I'm, you know, you do that bright, shiny, support them when they're in early access very early on, and realize they don't have enough content to keep me satisfied. And Space Engineers was one of those. Now it's got a ridiculous amount of content years later. It's text. It's tiny in comparison to everything else. Nivek, they deleted everything. Like, our entire hosting platform was deleted, except that all of our domain registrations, all of our billing was up to date, but they deleted everything. So it's a good thing we didn't actually host anything there, right? Because if we'd have hosted websites there and actually had website data there, it was all lost. Your son has put 500 hours into Space Engineers this year. Holy hell. Yeah, Jen left us unsupervised. Nivek, yeah. Yep. He said they keep backups. They don't know. They do know, right? They know that they got our account mixed up with somebody else's and somebody else was delinquent and they turned ours off instead.
And they just don't want to admit it.
Well, if they admit it,
it's bad for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, because we didn't lose any data. So, I mean, we did, obviously, the DNS records, but that was it. You know, I can't imagine had they done this to somebody that had a, you know, their website hosted there. Like, we don't even host anything with them.
Would it just, like, deleted their entire website?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God. And they would have to remake it from the ground up?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
Now, if you're doing that kind of stuff, you have
Yeah,
backups of your own website, hopefully, but
yeah,
it, you know, my fault. I don't keep a backup of our DNS stuff. I guess I should now. I've learned my lesson.
Yeah, it's like, oh, well, now maybe we should.
I've learned my lesson. I at least need to have a list of what all we have to change, because, you know, honest to God, I'm just not that guy. I'm like, barely know what I'm doing in that world. I sat there at the computer last night thinking, good God, I'm hungry. I want to go home and have dinner and pet the dog and play Space Engineers. And I'm sitting in front of the computer trying to remember what else needs a DNS record. like I don't know, and nobody's here to help me.
Did everybody go home?
Well, I thought Jacob was coming in here.
He might be in the pooper.
Oh, did he say he was going to be in here too? Oh.
Are you gonna go and sit in the comfy chairs? And he said, yeah, for a little while, and then he walked away. I'm back. I see you, Ghost Hunter. Trying to instigate.
You can't remember to back up your DNS stuff and also be this good at non-metallic metal. Bye, Dave. Think you're still here?
Take it easy, Dave. That's a good one, by the way.
Did you see Game Delay say his son has put 500 hours into Space Engineers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made a comment saying, I just want to go play Space Engineers. I don't want to have to worry about DNS, because somebody just reminded us that the Monumental site doesn't work because it's another one.
Yep.
Anything that is not a direct monumenthobbies.com, if it's a subdomain or anything else, just got crapped on through this whole thing, so that's a bummer. I need to be better. I feel like I dropped the ball on this one.
That's not on you.
Watch Tomato said, Jen's back. Everyone behave, especially Fuse. Did he get a little crazy while I was gone?
Yep.
Yeah.
You know it.
Omicron Samurai used a highlighted message to use up his 33,000 points.
One of the big things with non-metallic to really pull it off is remembering that every piece of the model where you put your brightest highlight becomes a light source. That's something we don't talk about often. Reflective materials, you know, if you hold a mirror up to your face, you know, like they do for photographs, or like a, you know, a big light reflector, and they put it on one side of the model and a big light on this side, it gives you reflected light on the other side of the model, not at the same intensity, you lose some, but it still is a light source. Even though it's not electrified, doesn't have a light bulb, that reflective surface, the metal armor, is a light source. So every time I'm putting a bright highlight, like this one right here, right? Notice how I'm skipping a little gap and putting a little dot of brightness above it there, right? Because it's that piece reflecting back into the piece above it, because they're in this kind of angled shape like this. So light hitting one might bounce into the other. So it's not always that you have to go for realism on that. It's just that that's going to pull off the idea of reflective surfaces a lot better when you do that.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Buffalo Spin Shot Dad Paxis.
Yep. That one.
Thank you for the bits. Omicron is going to use a highlight message until all channel points are gone.
And then he didn't.
Oh.
He's a liar.
Forgot.
He's a liar.
He's a liar. Welcome to our chat. You are now one of us.
Oh, God says one day I'll
Amongst
attempt
your people.
non-metallic metal. T. Schmidt, nearly 100,000 channel points. I might spend too much time here. There is no such thing as too much time here.
No,
I agree.
that's nearly 1 million, isn't it?
Just for that, 955,000. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Nearly 1 million. Bounce lights. Bounce lights.
Yeah, that's another thing, right? Like, you were talking about specific things that are like super highlighted, but everything reflects light to some extent. It's just how much and how it reflects it.
Yeah. Yeah, and all reflected light has the ability to be a light source, but until you get to reflected surfaces, then none of them are going to light anything on your model up, not in a way that you want to reproduce. Because remember, we're trying to really drive a fake level of contrast on our models. Models in reality aren't probably going to be as shiny. You know, you see a lot of what are respected as some of the world's top painters in miniature, and a lot of times their contrast is overdone. They are not painting for realism, right? They're painting for grabbing the eye and telling stories. So remember that too as you paint, right? You can choose to be a realistic painter. I dwell more in a world of realistic painting. I struggle sometimes to pull out of how things would really look into what I need to make them look like to pull it off at 28 millimeter, right? So you need that extra contrast. You need that extra brightness and differentiation. You can't do everything in ultra smooth gradients with very minuscule increases in...
This guy's goggles, this is not how goggles would be lit. You go look at some like fancy like skiing goggles. They don't reflect light like this. They kind of ish do, but it's big enough that it's a cool representation of it.
They do what you want.
Yeah.
Omicron's like, highlight some messages, bruh.
Because T-Schmidt has so many. T-Schmidt, I say save them, because maybe someday Twitch will be like, hey, you know what? Let's see if there's anyone out there who has 1 million channel points. And if they do, we're going to give them some money.
I'm going to be honest, I bet you there are people with way more than 1 million.
Oh, there's got to be people with hundreds, if not billions of channel
yeah.
points.
I'm sure there are.
A completely degenerate amount of channel points.
Yeah, we don't even stream that much compared to the people that stream 5 days a week, like 10 hours a day.
Yeah.
Remember, I used to do that. 7 days a week, 8 hours a day I used to do.
Yeah.
That was before bits and channel points and all that. Yeah, somebody says, I remember bits when bits were new. I remember when they first released them, and we were all like, "That's awesome!" We all had like cups that the bits would fall and bounce around
that's
in, and
right,
you could
we
make the bits like into your logo, and they'd bounce all over the screen, and we did all that crap. And then I was like, "Nope."
Super Bleeder wants to know what you're
You're off
highlighting
screen.
with.
Oh,
Jordan.
Sorry. Huh?
Super Bleeder wants to know what you're highlighting with.
I am
Primer.
priming.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm highlighting with primer.
priming.
Highlighting with primer.
I used to be a full-time streamer and had a redeem for 50,000 channel points called Eat Cheese. And I ended up owing my chat 80 pieces of cheese.
Wait a
So
minute.
like they would just redeem, like for 50,000 points they could redeem it, and you would have to eat a piece of cheese.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I used to keep track of stuff. Well, I don't think it was bits though. It was. Well, what did I have to keep track of for like drawings? I had a notebook, and I used to manually keep track of something. that we did.
Donations.
Huh?
Donations, right?
Was it donations?
Yeah.
Maybe? I don't know.
We used to do drawings at particular donation levels, but I think we put bits in there too, and you had to track what bit value equaled what dollar to add to the donation tracker.
Oh my gosh, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. Because we included bits in the donations, and so we had to do the math.
Gosu said exactly. My stream mascot was a rat, so I added it for a joke and ended up regretting it.
Yikes! Yikes!
We need to have we should have some kind. We need to have
Panic bomb, do it.
oh my gosh, a redemption plan or redemption package for these channel points where it's like if you give us a certain amount of points and Jacob has to
Dance.
dance or something. Yeah, Jacob's here by the way.
Jacob's
Hello.
gonna dance.
And
His name's
he's
Chair
in
Guy.
Chair right?
Yeah.
Yes, I got it right.
Hi, Jacob.
Hi.
How are you doing?
All right.
It still is JP Gray.
Did you win against Paul at lunch?
We went 1-1. We didn't play a third game.
He's
The
very
bit to
worried.
dollar conversion? I mean, it's one bit is a
It's-
penny.
Oh no, he won
Yeah,
both
each
games.
a bit is a penny, right?
So 100 bits is $1. It's always been the same. I think at one point in time they let you buy like more bits, like gems and games. You could buy more bits for less money than they were at face value. I don't know if they do that anymore.
They had bigger.
I haven't
fancier
paid attention to
ones.
bits in years. 1,000,000 points. Jacob primes and repaints whatever model he's working on.
I would be very happy with that.
Whatever model who's working on.
He
Jordan?
is.
I assumed it was my own, but
Oh.
Yeah.
but
There's no fun in that. He does that anyway. Wait, isn't the letter J the mascot of Monument Hobbies?
We just
I
we
mean,
just like to hire people whose names.
It's just a
start
very bent J. Looks more like an M.
with- JP Gray said that person looks 12. I feel old now. I think he's talking about
Well-
Jacob.
Jacob's 14.
yeah,
He's 16.
just
we're not getting
marginally
in
older
trouble
than
here.
Are you 20?
I'm 15 and a half with
15 and
parents'
a half.
permission.
Oh,
Are you 20?
lied.
Are you being serious?
12. Are you being serious?
Yes, he's 20. Almost 21. Jacob, when you
So-
have
Chair
your
baby.
21st
He's not chair
birthday,
guy anymore. He's chair baby.
You got to go out at midnight on your when you turn 21 and order a 3 wise men shot.
All right, let's go on in the notes. What is it again?
A 3 wise men.
Okay. I'm not gonna look up what it is. I'll just
Yeah,
find out
don't
there.
look it up. Don't
Uh,
ask questions.
I had somebody do that to me on my 21st birthday, except it was a duck fart, and I was like, "What the heck is this?"
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, that's a shot you can take.
I'm a big fan of Cheer Fetus personally.
Cheer fetus.
The other thing that you should do, Jacob, or the thing that I would like to take you to do on your 21st birthday, you may think my answer is going to be something related to alcohol. No, it is in fact going to be, hey Jacob, we should go get wings at a bar.
Hey, come on, man. You don't gotta keep bringing that up.
I mean, I wasn't bringing it up in any sort of negative way. Just as in, generally speaking, bars have pretty good wings.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the specific one that me and Paul went to.
No. I mean, if that one's good, we should do it. But
Those are probably the best, some of the best wings I've ever had in my life.
then yes, we should go there. But there definitely was a moment where Jacob can tell the story if he wants to. But
Oh, should I tell a story?
yeah,
Yes.
tell the story.
So-
Story time.
So Paul's like,
Paul also works here, by the way.
he's like, oh, we should try out this wing place. I saw like somebody post about it and it looked really good. I'm like, all right. So we get there, and it's a bar, and I'm like, oh, we'll just go in and order food and then go. And so we go in and order food, and the server's like, oh, can I see IDs? And I'm like, oh, we're just picking up food, it's fine. And she's like, oh, you can't be on the premises.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, okay. Can we just like order and wait outside? And she's like, she's like, Paul can, you cannot. And I'm like, what the hell? I can't just order food and like pick it up. And
The real Baby J.
so I was like, okay,
That's true.
Paul will order both of our food, and then we'll just wait outside. And so I go outside, and while Paul orders our wings. So I don't know if he told you this part of it, but he ordered the wings, and then he talked to like some of the people inside there the entire time that he was waiting for them to be done.
Oh, so he just like left you
Yeah,
outside?
so I was literally
So
just
he's
that's
just
so-
hanging out inside.
I
chilling
was
talking to
literally just
people.
waiting outside for like it was like 30 minutes.
This is such a Paul thing to do. Don't get me wrong, love Paul, but this is something that he would do, and I would not be surprised
And
at all.
I was literally like, all right, I'm calling him, and like I call him, and then like he doesn't answer, and I'm like, oh my god. And then like 5 minutes later, he comes out with our food, and he's like, oh sorry, my bad.
Well, dude, have you been standing out here alone the whole time?
That's exactly what he did.
Yes, Paul. In fact, I have been sitting out here alone the whole time because I'm not allowed to be in the bar
Yeah.
where you were sitting.
That's a very movie moment right there for you guys. That was your movie moment. No, Paul. I haven't been alone.
Where was this place with delicious wings?
It's in Arcadia. It's called, I think it was JT Grill and Wings or something.
Oh. I mean, they put wings in their name and they don't let people come in?
Oh no, it's JT's Bar and Grill. That's the name
Oh.
of it.
They
It's-
probably legally can't.
Well, the grill part makes you think that anyone could go
so
there.
that it's like a restaurant, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's on 44th Street.
That's silly.
yeah. It sounds like it's just a bar.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Either
Yeah.
that or they didn't like Jacob that day.
I mean,
Like, we
maybe.
don't want you in here.
It was full in there.
No, Paul, I wasn't alone. I'm never alone. Hey, Mo.
Mo.
It was probably worth the 30-minute wait though, because they were very, very good wings.
Good wings. Okay. What other interesting drinks should we have Jacob order when he turns 21? How about a cement mixer?
All right,
Oh,
let me
no.
let me make the list.
No, I actually like
He's making a
Jacob.
list.
All right,
Cement
we got
mixers
Three
are-
Wise Men, cement mixer.
I feel like cement mixer is a thing you should not give to a noob
Hello?
No.
because they will
yeah.
choke on it.
strawberry daiquiri. I don't know how to say that.
Daiquiri.
Strawberry daiquiri.
You don't need a strawberry.
Did
daiquiri.
William tell you to drink that one? Because that's his favorite.
William? Like William?
My nephew, yes.
Yeah.
How?
Absinthe.
Should I ask this question?
Oh, don't. Oh, ugh,
Malort?
that's terrible.
Yeah. Have some Malort.
What's Malort?
You don't want to know.
Sounds like mead.
You don't
Is it a
want to
mead?
know.
It's Chuck. I'm assuming it's a mead.
It's gross.
Absinthe is not enjoyable. Well, do you like black licorice, Jacob?
Not particularly.
Then don't stay away from absinthe.
I don't dislike black licorice.
You should
I
still
mean,
stay away from
you
absinthe.
instead of trying absinthe first, you should just start with, what is it called? What's that licorice?
What's Jason? What's the
Jaeger?
Jaeger. Yeah.
Oh, Jaeger. Oh, do a Jaeger bomb.
That was what I was gonna tell him. to do.
Jaeger bombs are great.
I
Actually.
really like
I
Jaeger bombs.
love the Jaeger
Yeah.
bombs.
Jason? What's the one where you put the lime in your eyes?
Somebody likes us.
Oh,
Oh,
that's the
gosh.
Iron Man shot.
That's all right. That's number one.
Wait, you're doing an Iron Man shot?
I will go do an Iron Man shot with you on your 21st
I
birthday
also
if this
would.
is the plan. I will teach you the ways. Although we have to go to a Mexican food restaurant that has queso.
Isn't it Los Dos?
Los Dos,
Yeah, we could do Los Dos.
It's right
Arriba.
there.
These are all places.
Everclear and strawberry Kool-Aid.
You can't snort Los Dos' queso though. It's way too thick.
Oh, it's pretty thick.
Oh God,
that
you
part of
snort
it?
queso? Oh no!
Oh,
I'm
well,
out.
we already committed. We can record it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So absinthe. Most people don't. I don't think know how to drink absinthe, but I.
Over a sugar cube.
Well,
Yeah.
technically, you should not need it over a sugar cube if it's a good absinthe. But it does. It's meant to be sipped, and people want to do it as a shot. And you're not supposed to do that. On your 21st, you should drink at least a case of beer.
No.
We would like Jacob to be able to come back to work. So, no.
Yeah. Do you get 2 days off for your
Well, so-
21st birthday instead of one?
What day of the week is your birthday?
It's a
Jacob?
Monday.
It's a Monday, so you really want the Tuesday off,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess technically you don't need two.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's on.
But-
Oh wait, yeah, it's a Monday.
That's a pretty funny joke though. Instead of
Yeah,
if
you
it's your
take the day
21st
off,
birthday.
the day after. You take the day after off.
No, I was just saying that it would be funny if you got 2 days off for your
Oh.
21st instead, just because we know what's gonna happen the second day.
We never had to think about that because we're all adults here.
Well, not all of us technically.
T. Schmidt said, wait, are there Mexican restaurants that don't have queso? So there's actually a Mexican restaurant down the street from our house, and their version of queso is just melted it's like they take a big chunk of cheese and put it in the microwave for a few minutes, and it's just straight cheese.
That kind of sounds awful to me.
And it congeals really quickly.
Cheese sauce or bust.
Well, that's the fondido.
Well, queso isn't like actually a really common thing in Mexico.
No.
Well,
if you go to
it's a-
Mexico, that's only served at like gringo restaurants.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
queso as it is only really an American thing.
Queso fondido, you can find it higher in Mexico City restaurants.
Yeah.
Because they'll do the fondido, which is the thicker stuff.
Yeah.
They do it with tortillas, not chips.
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, that when we did it with the tortillas was better. Birthday weekend.
And it's usually
beer,
spiced
yeah.
with chilies, really nice. They'll put, what is it, machaca
Uh-huh. That's
Yeah.
what that one had, machaca in it.
in it.
Chaka's good.
Yeah, if you can. Some places won't consider midnight the actual birthday.
Talking about bars.
Yeah.
Well, queso just means cheese in
Yeah,
Spanish.
it's just cheese.
Yeah.
So snorting queso, as in snorting cheese, I can't confirm or deny that that isn't a Mexican thing.
We did it in San Diego, and they were appalled. You could see the manager trying to figure out how they were going to tell us we were kicked out. But we had made such good friends with the entire wait staff while we were there for the 2 hours or whatever that the entire wait staff was like, just let them keep going. Everybody's liking it. They're not hurting anybody. Except ourselves. As I was in the bathroom dying in agony of having squirt lime in my eye.
I'm so excited.
You're excited.
Oh my god.
Jacob's my main
Somebody-
man
okay,
when
you
it
need-
comes to
somebody
silly crap
needs
like
to-
this.
It'll be funny.
Somebody needs to document this on video for us.
Yeah, that's why I said we gotta record it.
Yeah.
I made worse decisions for the sake of recording them.
I mean, hey, we recorded the McDonald's mixers.
That was one of them.
That was one of them.
That was one of them.
Yeah,
Yeah, you picked freaking Powerade for yours.
It was funny.
I mean, it was gross.
he did it for the memes.
It was
Everything is content.
Yeah, pretty much.
Phoenix Mercer said, do you all ever stay up to midnight nowadays, Monument family?
Yes.
I mean, most of the people here I think are gamers, and I would assume yes. They
yes.
go home
Yes
and
is the answer to that
Play
question.
video games till all hours.
I watch a lot of shows. I watch TV shows.
Don't let someone like me take people drinking for their first time. Yeah, I think, you know what? I feel like if Jacob saw you, he probably wouldn't go drinking with you for the first time.
Now I need to see him to confirm or deny this.
Oh, there's a picture of him sort of in Discord in the Cute Pets
Let me look at
channel.
Who's this?
Black Wolf. And then understand too when you look at it that he's, well, how tall are you, Black Wolf? Like 6'6"?
7'9", 800 pounds.
Which
Nivek
picture?
eats paint.
Oh, okay.
You and me both. I am so glad that there were no cell phones
I'd be
or
down.
easy ways to record things when I was in college.
No, unironically though, Jacob, you should definitely do a Jaeger bomb.
Yeah,
It's
definitely
It's
do a
like
Jaeger
actually
bomb.
really good.
Yeah, start with that.
Start with that. That's a great starting
Yeah.
point. Do you know what?
Because
Do you
you're
know
like,
what that
this
is?
is fun.
These people are not your
No.
friends.
Okay,
Jacob.
so it's a can of Red Bull.
Yeah,
I don't like Red Bull.
it's
Oh.
okay. You're gonna do this as a shot. It's not.
Yeah. You just chug it.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a can of Red Bull and a shot of Jägermeister. And
Okay.
you drop the
So
shot.
you have to pour the Red Bull in a glass.
Yeah.
And then you drop the
You drop the
shot
shot
of
into the
Jaeger in
glass.
it and let it explode, and then you drink.
And you chug it.
Yeah, you just
Yeah.
chug it. And it won't taste like Red Bull.
It won't taste like either of the two things. It won't taste like either of its two component parts.
That is true. Red Bull and booze is a bad combination. Like, you shouldn't make a habit of this.
No, but it does
One
taste
time,
good.
it's pretty good. Yeah, if you taste it, you did it wrong. An Irish car bomb.
No. Ugh.
The only time I've ever done that was they had been sitting in a hot car.
They'd been sitting in a hot car.
Yeah, well, they were in a cooler, so they had
'Cause that's
the
Kahlua and Guinness, right?
it's Bailey's and Guinness.
Bailey's and Guinness.
Yeah, Bailey's and Guinness. They had it in a cooler in the trunk of the car. We were at a spring training game, which is, it was my friend's birthday, which was like March 15th ish. So it was pretty warm out. It's starting to get hot at that time of year, and things in trunks of cars get really hot. So it was like, it wasn't hot, but it wasn't cold. I'll say that. And it did not taste like chocolate milk.
Nope. It definitely does. I can, having done one, I can tell you, doesn't taste awesome. This is from somebody who actually likes Guinness.
Yeah.
It's not a great combination of things. Marco Frazzoni, hello. Hi, Raiders.
Marco Frazzoni and Raiders.
Welcome to our humble abode where we have Chair Guy, as well as the rest of our wonderful family of streaming people here.
What's going on, everybody? Lucas! Zaba! What's going on? Hello. Welcome, everybody. Cheers.
Hello.
Don't mind me. I'm just priming a bunch of stuff.
Tim says, but Baby J, you put tartar sauce on chicken, so
Yeah, so?
nobody's really listening to you, I think is his
Wow.
point there.
So you're telling me I lost all of my street cred on food. Great.
That's pretty valid.
No, it's not.
I'm just kidding. I've actually never tasted tartar sauce before.
Wait, really?
BVP, hello. Leaf, what's going on, Thomas? What's happening,
Taco night
everybody?
was a
Welcome,
success.
Raiders.
Excellent.
All right.
Welcome to Monument Hobbies.
Jacob, one of these years.
Megalodon Jaws says Taco Night was a success. Glad to hear it.
Excellent. I'm taking you with me to Seattle
I'm painting a pile of bodies.
so you can experience the cold
I'll be down.
and you can have some Ivers.
My pile of bodies is
Get the clam chowder though.
the roost
I'm gonna take him to a better place for clam chowder.
for Percival.
Better than Irish?
Oh, not even close.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that actually what tartar is? Mayonnaise, pickle bits, and lemon?
Yeah.
Basically,
Sounds delicious.
some spices.
It is actually really good.
Delicious.
Yeah. Most people only ever have it with fish.
Why are
so-
people making
Most
fun of you
people.
then? This sounds amazing.
Well, because it's
Right?
meant. It's
Game
meant
delay.
for
It's what
fish.
happens after the Iron Man shot.
It's a condiment for fish.
Whoa,
We're doing great,
it's a
Marco.
condiment.
How are you? Hope you had a great show.
Typically served.
Good
with
to see you.
fish. Fried fish.
This was all of yesterday's conversation.
Yeah.
Because a chicken
But the
sandwich.
product itself.
Thank you.
is
Yeah,
not
this one
that
I'm
bad.
really digging this one. The pile of bodies we had to have done custom and scaled up off of an STL because this is just a little owl dude from Hit Point Press. He's just a D&D character that they do in one of their campaigns, but I can't leave well enough alone, and I have to have this cute little owl be on top of this mangle pile of the dead Percival Chevalier the Fifth, first of his name, Destroyer of Ankles, is who this gentleman is. And we are gearing up for this deal. I'm going way too far on the metal right now just because I'm having fun. I shouldn't paint this first. I should paint skin and all the fabric.
Oh.
Slayer of Worlds, correct,
Slayer
Gosu.
of Worlds. Destroyer of Worlds. I think it was Destroyer of Worlds.
Super Bleeder asks, how would you do orange Space Marine armor? Orange armor, I did, when the Primaris Marines first came out, we did orange for the Monumentals, and I don't know that I have any here. Oh yeah, I've got this guy. Right? So we started doing the armor on this guy years ago. Forgot I even had this guy. Right? This is Cheveticus, if anybody remembers. This was back when we were giving away all the Chevettes. If we got
Oh my
yes.
gosh.
after $1 billion in donations, we were going to buy everybody in chat a Chevy Chevette. So this guy's seen better days. But the oranges here are done from a color like burnt sienna or burnt orange up to and through orange, and then a little bit of transparent yellow at the end, which gives it that that extra bite and brightness, as opposed to keeping it in, you know, dull oranges. But I like starting with things like burnt orange, right? Burnt sienna goes a little bit darker, so you can do that if you want to get a lot more shadow to it. And then, of course, into orange, right? And then transparent yellow. And the transparent yellow is like I said, what gives it that little bit of kick. But you can dilute the transparent yellow and use it more like a feathering filter, so you don't have to put it on heavy duty. And then all of my highlights and stuff would be done with a mixture of ivory and orange or pale yellow, depending on how yellow you want it to be. There's a lot of things you can do, but that gives you a real desaturated orange. If you want to go with a brighter orange, you can use the same colors, you just leave more of it in the burnt orange and orange tones, you know. So very similar to this guy. I really like my beat up orange armor, don't I?
Yes, you do.
So this is
Great.
the Guardian from Black Sun that I did on the base. And so the orange armor there is a good way to look at doing orange as well. All done in the same principle manner. I think I probably based all of my oranges here in black brown so that I could also go back with the chipping color in black brown and get that really nice beat up, you know, the edges where the paint is worn off and the chipping and things like that. But again, it's all highlighted with pale yellow mixed with orange. So there's no yellow transparent used on this guy. Whereas you can see a little bit more of the warmth here from the yellow, like especially up on the top of the dreadnought. Right.
Marco said, I feel guilty because I kept refining a geometric freehand for 4 hours. I imagine people were screaming at me on the other side of the screen. And
You fell into the artist trap, right?
Frank said that it was worth it, and I was going to say, I bet people were very interested in the process.
Yeah,
Don't worry, I repainted glasses 3 times today.
the artist trap of it's never done, and I'm on this. Yeah, but yeah, like Jordan repainted the goggles on the Vulture 3 times today.
Yep.
So
I painted it once,
that happened.
and then I painted it for a demo, and then I painted it orange.
And
So
BVP, next time you see an owl with a knife, you're running away, you should.
Yeah.
Or protect your ankles at a minimum. Right. Zaba Art, thank you. Is this Lucas? Forgive me if not. Yeah, this is a project that we were doing. I never finished the base. I still need to paint the base to get it completed. It was a 3D print that I got from some guy in Europe. I don't remember who it was. But I had a lot of fun with this when we did this guy up on stream. You guys not going to fit back where I got him from, so you go there. Orange is by far one of my favorite colors to paint. It's just one that I don't find a way to fit into my my flow very often. It takes a special kind of model, and in general, I like oranges as like singular models, like the Guardian there, as opposed to whole armies. But if done right, if you really weather it and draw it down to where, not take it into browns, don't alter the hue so much, leave it to where it's recognizably orange, but desaturate it a little bit, then it can look good across a whole army. Same with yellows, right? Like Imperial Fists are really difficult for me because I really want to saturate that yellow, but it gets to be overbearing on the table. So finding a way to pinch and pull it up and down so that you get kind of a, I don't want to say patchwork quilt, they're all the same yellow, but you can get variations of vibrancy through the saturation on the yellow via weathering, or just how you shade and highlight, so that you get some variation to keep it interesting. Especially with Space Marines, because Space Marines are just armor. Stormcast Eternals, right? Things where you just don't have a lot of other colors to put in on them. You're either quartering the armor to make it interesting, or you're going nuts because everything's the same. So the Space Marines I tend to do wind up being in darker color schemes anyway, right? So that if you've got, Blood Angels, red is usually overbearing, so bump it up with some golds, something like that. Intersperse white helmets on it, things like that that can bust it up, but any color can work. I just tend to not want to look at a sea of overly bright Space Marines.
Any of this plastic gummy tool you are using on the airbrush, like on the trigger?
For the trigger?
That's
This
on our
is-
airbrush.
That's
We
our airbrush.
partnered with Grex and custom made our own cushions for the trigger and the grip. Their base as well has a green one, like bright green but more solid plastic. Gosu, finding that right balance of yellow saturation has been your life's work with painting hazard stripes. Yeah, I tend to want to not do too much, but yellow is such a fun color to play with, right? That when you pull it off, I think highlighting it is the trick. And I like taking yellows into the world of like greens and oranges. It gives it kind of a sickly feel, but rather than it being just a standard, like, my little smiley face is done with oranges. But I've got some greens, some camo greens underneath the yellows on his rocket launcher, and that works really well. It again, I like to play with color outside of the normal hues so that you can get a base in the shadows that will kind of shift the depth a little bit. So remember that you can do that with every color.
And thank you for those follows, Clone Guild and
Thank you
the
so much.
Classroom.
Classroom! Thank you. Clone Guild. Hope everybody had a wonderful day so far. Hope your week is starting off wonderfully.
Phoenix Mercer wants to know if you have an example of desaturated red.
Desaturated red? Does my dreadnought count? Is that too saturated? That's just using the eclectic salmon color that we joke about. And then like more of a darker desaturated red, right? For this Word Bearer's dreadnought. I got a lot of red dreadnoughts.
Hey, somebody likes us.
Then ways to do it again where you kind of give it that oxidized feel, like I'm doing the armor on Gaz, again in a darker red, right? So darker colors can be saturated in terms of how we talk about pigmentation. They can still be very saturated and give you very robust colors, but by their very nature and being lower in value scaling, they tend to appear more desaturated in the palette. If you keep into a dark palette, everything would appear to be more desaturated. So you can paint darker. A lot of people have problems with finding ways to highlight dark colors because you want to go to a bright highlight. It's how your brain is tuned because of the way we paint. And so you've got to remember to tone that down, keep your highlight a little bit lower, and you wind up in a good spot. But, I mean, there's all sorts of ways to do it. Trying to think. I would say that my Blood Angels are fairly saturated reds. Maybe Horus's cloak gets away with being a little bit more desaturated because of the heavy dark purples and burgundies that I used in the shadows on him. So I think that works really well. But again, it's just kind of keeping it dark and keeping your highlights to a minimum.
It's part of the whole airbrush. We don't sell that piece. Just
Yeah,
by
this is
itself.
not a piece that we sell separately.
Yeah, it's basically the kit comes with our kit comes with the Grex and Monument branded rubber, and that just slips on over the main body of the airbrush, and same thing on the trigger, just comes off. Hopefully some of that helps you. A good question for me to have asked is probably, what is your version of desaturated? What are you thinking as desaturated? Because a lot of times, just like I said, just holding your brightness to a minimum can give you a desaturated coloring, right? And then as I go brighter red, you get more of a pop, because you're going to generate more contrast on the model the brighter you go with, especially with a main color like, you know, red on Blood Angels or yellow on Imperial Fists. So trying to go with a multicolored scheme. Awesome.
Muted colors.
Muted. Yeah, a lot of times that translates into just stop earlier, right? Just don't blend your way up to a very high value version of your color, and don't go to bright highlights. Then you wind up muting everything back down. You don't really have to do anything special with like the mix of your color or anything like that. You definitely can, right? You can desaturate any color by adding in a more white, either version of itself, you know, like a pale pink into red will desaturate it very quickly, but that turns into like very bubblegum colors, very pastel colors, and that's not always what everybody means by desaturated. So lingo gets kind of lost in translation sometimes. If you're looking for muted, that's a great way to say that, right? A more realistic tones where your contrast isn't off the charts, you know, like we do for miniature painting. Then it really is just stopping earlier, using your mid-tone as your base color and highlighting off of that, as opposed to driving it up to higher values of that color. You out of here?
And was it Zaba art
Mm-hmm.
that you said, was that Lucas? Yes.
Awesome. Welcome,
Soldier,
Lucas.
this soldier pantry toast is just missing a bamboo stick through the bodies. I think this. Your
Oh,
pile of
here?
Bodies.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. It's very funny. You have one body that has its head lopped off and put in between its legs as some sort of tribal message kind of sending here. And the rest of them we think are faking it. Because there's no wounds on any of them, right? They're all just playing possum, basically. Because they saw this guy get his head lopped off and they're like, act dead! The owl's serious! So I think it's fairly comical, and it gives us a good way to make what is a fun, cute model into a hoodlum.
Into a hoodlum.
I love this kind of dichotomy in my storytelling, right? If you're going to make a vignette, it's really neat to have something super cute like this owl Percival, and then jump him on a bunch of dead bodies, one with its head lopped off, and we'll do some blood effects and all that. But we don't do a lot of blood on Percival, right? Maybe a little bit on his sword. I like that's what we did here. So this model is funny. Lucas, you guys probably know this. The Guardian model is a model sold by Black Sun that is done with a little boy. So generally this model has like an apartment. It's like an egg-shaped apartment. It's like a little, it's like an apartment. It's like a little house that he wears on his back, and there's a little boy in there, and the boy's like looking off into the distance with binoculars in his hand. So the model's name is the Guardian, and instead we threw the boy in the garbage and we made a flesh cloak. so this is like, the AI gone rogue. The Guardian turned the boy into a nice robe.
Oh, God.
Tribal robe to wear. So again.
Nivik eats paint. Whispers to the others in pile. An owl's vision is based on movement. Lay perfectly still.
Just don't move. Just don't move. Sea Fox is like, that's very dark. Very dark. We had so much fun when we were trying to paint the thing. It's like a very heavy leather is how it's sculpted. I'm like, this should be skin. Yeah, it's the Guardian, but let's make it out of skin. Why not? Jeez. He needs a little murder stick. He's got like a letter opener, right?
Yeah.
He's got like this teeny letter opener thing going on here, which is fun. I didn't finish the sword because I wanted to figure out what we were doing with the bodies. I just recently got the bodies in the pile, so we're having fun with that right now.
Did you mean Jordan?
Huh?
Because I'm not priming anything right now.
Oh, I'm priming all sorts of stuff.
Those are Sons of Horus.
They are part of my Sons of Horus army.
He's doing heretics.
I am a
Horrible,
heretic.
horrible, horrible heretics.
Yeah, well,
He needs a
That's
little
true.
chain sword or a drill.
oh my god, a chainsword on
Dude, now I would paint like an entire army of little
Space
owl
Marine.
space marines.
Oh my gosh.
Lucas, that was fun. We painted that guy on stream, and it was more of a study and like discussing various storytelling aspects while we were doing it. You know, painting the background, how you can bring a story together in a miniature diorama kind of a sense. And so it was funny because I like to, you know, like Percival. You know, we make up stories as we paint. Like, why am I painting this little guy? It's very out of character for me to paint this little cute, chubby owl. You know, so we tell a whole story about how he's a drunken, sailor-mouthed, you know, bar brawler. But he looks like the cute one, so everybody wants to talk to him, and that really pisses him off. Like, he doesn't want to talk to people. So those stories evolve into pile of bodies. I immediately was like, you know what we need? We need a pile of bodies for Percival. So where do you go? Etsy! And some people here, I think they're in California. They might have been in California. I think Anaheim
they
or
are.
something like that.
I
Pretty
think they
close.
are, yeah.
Pretty close by, so they turned it around really quick. Unfortunately, the scale of this model was totally off. It was done at 28, 30 millimeter scale, which sounded right, but you realize how big Percival really is.
Yeah.
He's legitimately like Space Marine size, you know. So it was
He's a
not
small lad.
not a small guy. The other pile of bodies was comically small when tried to do it in scale. But again, welcome everybody. If you came over in the raid, if you're not familiar, we are Monument Hobbies, the makers of Pro Acryl paint and all sorts of other fine hobby products. We welcome you to our little den of craziness here.
It is what it is.
Yeah, we don't try to deny it. There's no use in trying to prove it any differently these days. We have been streaming for quite a long time, and we love to see everybody hopefully gain a little insight on model painting here. If you've
Marco,
got any
good
questions,
night.
feel free to ask
Good night,
them.
Marco.
Thank you again for the raid.
Marco, you out of here?
See you next time.
Take it easy. Thank you so much. I have
Cheer Baby said
a
he'd be
paint.
right back. I don't know where he went. He didn't tell us.
What's that?
Omicron asked where Jacob went.
He's
Chair
pooping.
guy went.
Chair guy poops too. Everybody poops.
Oh no, I was looking for saline spray.
Saline spray nose give you problems?
Oh.
Yeah, that's real dry. I think it's in my house somewhere.
Is that a thing that happens out here?
What, dry nose?
Yeah.
I mean, for me specifically, it does a lot.
For sure.
Does
It's very dry here.
Well, yeah, I'm from a not so dry place.
No, I know. Yeah,
So,
but that's definitely
yeah.
something that happens.
Mm, okay.
Saline nose spray is like one of the best things you can use.
I don't use it near enough
I use
and
it
wind
every
up
day.
irritating my nose with. It happens mostly on like right after you take a shower.
Yeah. Chair guy's right there. There's only one. It's usually Jacob. Sometimes it's Gabe or Philip, but it's usually Jacob.
It's usually Jacob.
Yep.
Jacob is chair guy.
You can use saline or you can use queso, I hear.
Oh no.
We're gonna
Queso
find
works
out.
well. Well, we didn't tell you the rest of the Iron Man shot. For those of you that have been here on stream a long time, you probably already remember this story. But so we were down in San Diego, and this has been years and years, decades ago. And my friend Zach, we were harassing this Mexican food restaurant. It was actually really good food. We were having a great time. Drinks were flowing, and at the end, the waitress comes up and is like, "Hey, you know, I I think maybe she said the bar would be closing or something like that. And you want anything left? And Zach says, yeah, we're going to finish out with Iron Man shots. And she's like, what is that? And he goes, just bring tequila shots, limes, and salt for everybody. So she's like, okay. And she brings, it's just a tequila shot. So we're all like, nah, no problem. We got this. And the Iron Man shot is that you snort the salt, take the shot, and then squirt the lime in your eye. And I gotta tell you, there is nothing worse, talking about dry nose, than snorting salt.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's a killer.
I can imagine that might be the case.
Like, it's legit a killer.
How drunk were you?
Immediately, I was not that drunk. But I mean, I'm, like Jacob, I'm like, yeah, I'll do it.
I'll do it.
Back then it wasn't, you didn't say for the memes, but that's really what it was. It's like,
Yeah.
I'll do it for the memes. This will make a good photo op. This will get a good laugh out of the crowd.
That's all that matters.
And,
The guy behind us laughed
it
very hard. He laughed very hard.
I now want a parody of the Morton Salt logo that's snorting salt.
Snorting salt. That's
Little
very
girl
good.
with her umbrella.
Zach was, I got to give it to him. He didn't try to trick us. He's like, I'm going to show you. I was like, so what's the deal with the shot? He goes, watch and learn. And he put it out.
no.
He put the salt on his thumb just like you would to bite the salt, squirt the lime, and then take the shot. But he poured the salt out. Maybe he poured the salt, squirted it in his eye, and then drank it back. That's what he did. And then he drank it, and he immediately got up screaming, running away.
Yeah, you don't do the lime
got us
first. The
screaming
lime
in
is the
front.
last step.
Huh?
The lime is the last step.
Yeah, so it must be the last step
Yeah.
then. We squirted in the eye. But yeah, it was a fan favorite. Nobody else tried one other than us at the table.
Imagine that.
Imagine that.
I was in the bathroom snorting water out of the faucet for like 30 minutes.
Mo said, call me silly, but that doesn't sound like the wisest thing to do.
No, we weren't the three wise men, Mo. I don't know if you.
Bug King, hello. Bug King grudgingly says hello to everyone.
Begrudgingly says hello. Well, I begrudgingly say hello back. The Bug King.
Americans are weird, Hellfire. You can say that, yeah, again.
That's
We just-
accurate.
We can't eat the paint, but we can Iron Man the paint. I mean, there might be some brownie points in there for you if you take a video.
One of your hobbies does not
Oh,
recommend
goodness.
consuming paint in any form.
Oh, would you look at that? It's $4.59. No more talk of snorting salt,
Jen just changed the clock.
squirting lime in your eye.
Jen just changed the clock.
Orc Pride said, remind me with the transparent paints. Thin with water, flow improver, or combination?
Yes.
Glaze and wash medium? And water?
Yeah, your best
Is
bet
the
is our
best
glazed
bet?
wash medium, but water by itself is fine.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on what you're trying to do with it, right? I mean, like anything, if you are, if you have a task in mind with the transparents, like if you're trying to apply a nice even filter, then our glazed wash medium does a great job because it holds it into a paint consistency and still gives you the opacity lowering that you're looking for. So that can be a great way to do it. If you're comfortable glazing and filtering with lower viscosity material, you add just water, and that's great. That's what I do most of the time. Or adding flow improver gives you sort of an in-between. The thing that I always tell with adding a bunch of flow improver is that you will increase the dry time in most cases. Not all flow improvers have a retarder in them, but most do. That amount of glycol-based products is going to extend the dry time of most acrylics when you use it. So just be careful if you're trying to glaze an area and then you want to go back and work it again quickly. You got to be careful on what you use. Water will give you the ability to work the area the quickest again. Our glazed wash medium will give it a longer open time, as will flow improver. So you just have to be careful and move around the model more before coming back to an area you just did the filter on. So there's all sorts of questions to ask yourself in there. What are you trying to do? If you're focused on doing one spot on the model this way, then water is probably your best bet. But getting used to filtering with water as an additive is the hardest part, because the paint tends to want to skate away from you. So you got to get better at controlling the paint at that low viscosity, which is why I use the thumb palette. You take most of it off on your thumb, right? You're getting rid of most of it before you even go to the model. So
Game Delay said some of us don't squirt limes in our eyes despite being American.
We're giving Americans a bad name here with our Iron Man
Not on
shots.
purpose. We've all done it accidentally. Most of us don't do it on purpose. JP Gray, I mean, I've never got asked if I was an American in another country. That is true.
And he was a Marine. He knows.
We're not super hard to identify.
Good, Orc. Hope that helps. Yeah, you'll see me with most of the time with any of our paints, no matter what it is, you'll see me thinning just with water,
Same.
and that's how we paint 90% of the time. The glaze wash medium is fantastic for filtering, and I use it primarily when doing bright colors. So when I'm doing that final highlight, like if I were to go back and glaze this highlight after I sketch in my final bright reflections on this dull armor, then I might go and glaze in with a brighter color. That would be a perfect situation for taking and doing that with the glaze wash medium. Since you talked about transparent paints, they're mostly in a darker register, so you know, water, anything is pretty fine. And with that, I think we've reached the end. The end!
The end. Good timing. I just finished.
This is the
putting
end.
this color on these guys.
We get you all of your links.
For those of you that just joined us, if you have not hit that follow button, please do so now. We stream 5 days a week. We stream Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays like tomorrow coming up at 12 noon Pacific time here in the U.S., so a little bit earlier in the day than now. And we stream up until 2. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays like today, we started at 2 p.m. slot here Pacific time U.S. and go till 5 o'clock, which it is right now. So gives you 5 chances to catch up with us at various times. We'd love to see you back here, especially those of you who might be coming to us from Europe and rest of the world. Always a great time to spend painting with you, answering questions, having fun, telling fart jokes, and watching Percival slay the world.
Yes, Omicron has a message really quick. So someone I sold on Pro Acryl said they're great, but the pink was drying chalky. Maybe too much water?
Could be, yeah.
Yeah.
They can also always email us support@monumenthobbies.com. So you can let them know that.
Yeah. Hellfire says, good night,
Good
chair
night,
child.
Chair child.
Chair child.
But thanks for hanging out. Make sure to follow all the links that Jen threw up in the chat there. The FLGS, the store, the Discord, and the YouTube links will get you all of the great content we do, as well as the store where you can purchase some Monument products for yourself.
Yeah.
Give us a try. You might love what you find. We make some of the best products around, and we use them all day, every day here, so you can come ask questions anytime you would like. Love your faces. Don't go changing. We'll be back here again tomorrow. Stick around for the raid and show some love in the channel we wind up in, and we'll catch you on the flip side. Adios, gang.
Adios.